Ding. Snoochie Boochie Snarky Boochies, or whatever the hell Tom usually says. I don't do intros. It's my first time, and I fucked it up. What's good, everyone? Special Monday night Shorts and Jorts spooky special with myself, the homie Bear Pigman, and our big special time guest, friend of this show, my favorite, one of my favorite people slash bartenders slash content creators, Taylor Smirl. Taylor, say hello to the audience.
Hello, audience. Hello.
Yay!
I'm so sorry also for what I brought to the table.
So yeah, this is I reached out to Taylor early on the Jortning phase, and by reached out I mean I got drunk at their apartment and I was telling them about the podcast. I was like, "Do you want to swing by sometime?" And they're like, "Yes, but I want to do a Kevin Smith horror movie." And I was like, "Oh, I've never seen his horror stuff." I kind of skipped over that because I just tuned out to Kevin Smith for a few years because it's not that easy, not that hard to. So as a spook time season, Tom's like, we got to bring Taylor on sooner. We have to do it for the horror times. And I was like, yes, it sounds good. And Taylor's like, let's do Tusk. I was like, I've never seen Tusk before, and now I have seen Tusk. And I watched the original Dune on Friday. Then I watched New Dune on Saturday, and then I watched Tusk yesterday. So I have opinions.
That's an amazing trilogy there.
Oh, it's
Yeah, that's a mind.
all three of them are Lynchian, but different degrees of Lynchian. I don't know how to feel about that.
It's funny because Tusk feels more Lynchian than anything, but it's not.
Right, it's and like I'm pretty sure it's not even like Lynch inspired. I'm sure Christmas is like David who?
It's actually more, if anything, a little Cronenberg inspired.
Yes,
because
yes.
Robert Kurtzman, the man who actually designed the suit, which we will get into, he basically did the special effects and makeup for The Fly. He did the Jason X. Basically, he worked on every major franchise. Dude has like a prolific work. So like a bunch of Leatherface's, Child's Play, Jason, Freddy, Evil Dead 2, Predator. Like he got a. There's a reason why that suit looks fucking good.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, we also get to have like Chris's two different types of extreme reactions to something. Something I saw made me very, very happy, and something made me very, very sad. So let's get this ball show. Let's talk about the positives. Let's talk about what we liked about this movie first. Taylor, you're the guest. You go first. What did you like about Tusk?
Well, I mean, I like this movie, so right. I mean, I it might be bad, but I like it. I mean, for one, I love body horror. Anything that is just squicky and weird, I'm kind of into. So there's definitely that element. I think that, I don't know, podcasters as leads in horror movies. That's a niche that I'm down with. I think the wrapping of that as like the main characters involved in a podcast is very funny to me. And I mean, it also some really great actors in it, you know?
Yeah, like they're like that cast. Okay, so aside from Justin Long, who I'm indifferent towards, I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just indifferent towards him.
That's a good job.
Yeah, you had Michael Parks, who's an icon. Haley Joel Osmond as. I feel like both Haley Joel and Justin Long were playing two different versions of Kevin Smith.
Yep.
Yeah.
Genesis Rodriguez, who doesn't have too much film work, but she's in she's the voice of Honey Lemon from Big Hero 6, which I was amazed by.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Also, again, nothing made me laugh harder than seeing Kevin Smith's daughters in this movie, and her real name again, is Harley Quinn Smith.
Yes. And Johnny Depp's daughter is in it too, right?
Yes, also Johnny Depp, unfortunately.
Well, Johnny Depp's daughter though is the other checkout girl.
Yes, from the hit, and I say it in loosest sense, movie Yoga Hosers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck that up like 5 times tonight, so heads up in advance.
That's part of the spiritual trilogy, apparently, that these movies exist in. So there's Yoga Hosers. There's Moose Jaws.
Right.
Moose Jaws.
What if Jaws with a moose? That movie doesn't exist yet, by the way, because it's
but it will, right?
We don't know because
Listen,
Tusk came out and tanked. Yoga Hoses came out and tanked. I'm not sure if we're getting Moose Jaws.
When has he ever let bad movie sales and bad reviews stop him from making another movie?
I guess the rights. Oh no, there is no rights to Moose Jaws, I would say.
Who's gonna
You need
fight
the
him for
rights
the
to
rights
Jaws
from
to
Moose
do this?
Jaws?
I guess finding the money to do it is the thing.
I feel like that's something that you could fan fund at this point.
Oh, it's gonna
Mhm.
be he's gonna fan fund. It's gonna be a fan animation thing. I'm gonna fucking scream.
You know, I would
Okay.
I would absolutely throw $100 to that and be like, oh, that's a bad idea, but I've done worse with $100.
So Tom, why'd you like this movie? Just keep it on the positive side.
Okay, so one, I love uh Michael Parks pretty much
Yes.
makes Kevin Smith's horror films great. He was the best thing about Red State, and he's the best thing about this movie, like, easily. This man is a fucking talented actor, been in some amazing roles, award winning, and he is here like the range of characters that he plays in this movie, all of them weird. Like you could tell, like you could just tell how much fun almost everyone in like on set was having, and the fact that Kevin Smith still talks about this as like anytime someone talks to him about Tusk, he's like, "This is the best thing I've ever made in my life." Like I love that.
Love that.
I love any and like watching a bunch of stuff on Dead Meat has given me a lot of appreciation for horror sets where like the director is really courteous to his crew and his actors, or their actors, their crew, and like the set is they're safe, they're when a casting crew has a good time making a movie, it comes through even if it's a subpar script or subpar idea. uh that kind of attitude can make it good. And I think this is like a prime example of it. Plus, like, I'm also a fan of body horror, and this does a really great job of both balancing the like hidden nature of body horror, where you don't see what you don't see is scarier than what you see, and just flat out showing everything. Like
Mhm.
it hits this really weird balance really well. Plus the fact that it was like born from a podcast episode. And they're like, literally, the reason this movie exists, by the way, is because they told the story on a podcast and then said, "Audience, do you want this to be a movie? Tweet Walrus yes if you do, and hashtag Walrus no if you don't." And it was something like 98% people said Walrus yes. So he's like, "Fuck it, we're making
Walrus
this
yes.
movie."
That may be the most Kevin Smith story of all time.
I love that so much.
What else? Yeah, because it was it starts off with based on a true story, and it's because Smith read an article about how was it um live a situation where he saw a Gumtree ad where a homeowner was living would allow someone to live with them for free if if the lodger agreed to dress as a walrus. And then Smith apparently just like so I didn't go and listen to this podcast episode, but apparently the truth is that story was a prank
Mhm.
done by who's I have the name somewhere Chris Parkinson, and who is a associate producer on this movie because he was a big Kevin Smith fan. He's like, "Yo, this is a prank, bro," and then, but I want to work with you, so that's wild. I guess it's my turn. So pros, yeah, fucking oh yeah, we're allowed to curse by the way. Michael Parks,
Okay.
aka John Renault from Twin Peaks. Chris's second favorite not show, first in the non-animation program. Shooting Up was cool as hell. Um, it's okay shit. Like it's well shot. Like I think the angles are really cool. I think it was like like every scene it flowed. Like it was a quick good horror movie. Solid soundtrack. I was very delighted to see that it ended on a Gerard Way song. Or I'm sorry, Gerard Way singing a classical song. Because like I was watching the credits because there's a post-credit scene involving passing gas, which also seems very Kevin Smith. But then I was like, as performed by Gerard Way, I was like, the Gerard Way, and lo and behold, it was Gerard Way, which I it's not going to be the last time we're going to get a My Chemical Romance Kevin Smith collab. Jersey Strong, baby. Um, let's get into the I guess the cons. I think Justin Long's character was a little too unlikable, so when bad stuff happened to him, I couldn't care. Which I get, it's a horror movie, so like
Yeah.
bad things are supposed to happen. But like when that man lost his legs and was freaking out, I lost my mind. It was hilarious. Um, but like it didn't lean too hard into the comedy stuff enough, and it didn't lead enough into the horror stuff. So we got like a weird mishmash in the middle, and I was like, oh, I want more on one side. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. My least favorite thing about the movie is the sounds that come out of Justin Long's mouth in the second half of it.
That's hard to hear. Yes.
Because my dumbass decided to watch this movie at 3 o'clock in the morning last night to take down my notes without headphones on, to the point where literally I got a text message from my neighbor asking if everything was okay at like 4 in the morning, and I'm like, no, but you don't have to worry. Like, no, not everything's okay, but you don't have to worry about it.
Just respond with the word walrus.
You know,
Goo
if you
goo
like
goo
that.
goo goo goo
We're almost
goo
up.
goo goo.
Oh, Beatles reference.
Oh.
Oh, also, one more con. Sorry to interrupt you. Johnny Depp showing up fucking sucks. I hate Johnny Depp. Real piece of shit, Johnny Depp.
Particularly Johnny Depp talking about ex-wife problems.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that's not on Smith necessarily, but it aged like lunch meat in the sun, in the Arizona sun.
Speaking of things
Yeah.
that age like lunch meat in the hot Arizona sun, the not see party Chris this is like the first thing Chris said once we both had rewatched it. He's like, that might be the most dated joke Smith has made in
No,
a long time.
it was the what Kevin Smith's joke has aged worse the quickest.
Yeah.
Because that Tusk was 2014,
Mm-hmm.
so we had Gamergate that late summer, early fall, and then the 2016 election. And again,
Rise of the incels.
right, I don't
Yeah.
blame Smith for that, but like, it's funny because like, I was reading some like the making of stuff for this movie, and he was just like, I wanted to make a non-political horror movie because a lot of people kind of use Red State to make a bunch of arguments. And then it's like, yeah, and then I make a Nazi joke. I was like, buddy, buddy.
There was
I mean,
also a great moment. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say it's bad, but I feel like it fed into more like these are podcasters in the sense of like the sort of, I don't know, like the extreme right, like, or like Joe Rogan kind of like shock jock bullshit. Like it's uncomfortable, but also to me it made it easier to watch this guy get turned into a walrus.
Yeah, but valid. Okay,
Mhm.
that's a good stance. Like, if you want to watch this man suffer and not feel bad, then it's more.
You can have good reason, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, it's actually like interesting to kind of show the parallel of like the monster Howard wants to create and the monster that Wallace wants to create. And to me, I kind of saw like a really kind of similar like goal. I mean, like literally, Wallace is the most ironically appropriate person to get caught up in this situation because, I mean, like, what, you know, in the plot they talk a lot about crying, particularly crying at a funeral, and how that shows like kind of the lack of a soul, like, or rather, if you can cry at a funeral, that's the presence of a soul. And this movie opens with the funeral that he not only doesn't like show an ounce of remorse or sadness or empathy at, he immediately, like, his immediate response is like, fuck, this really fucks me up.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like, he's angry about it for his personal reasons.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess we'll talk about the movie itself. Today I learned it was an A24 release, and I'm used to like A24 doing like very like artsy but good creepy movies.
And you don't
Like
think this
mid-
was this
I
artsy?
wouldn't say it's artsy. Fartsy, absolutely artsy.
okay.
Yeah, no.
Good then.
Originally Blumhouse was in talks to be the producer, but they couldn't. Production company rather. It just couldn't work out though. But like, there's no bad blood between the Smith and the
Oh, I
Bloodhouse
like the
Empire.
idea. Blumhouse is like, nah, this is too much for us.
Oh no, it was more like a release schedule type thing
Yeah.
because I think
They wanted
Smith
to
was,
rush this fucking thing out.
yeah. Yeah,
Mm.
and Smith was like, no, I'm also working on Clerks 3, which is ironic because here we are. That was 2013 to 2014 this movie was being shot and worked on, and then here we are in 2021, and Kevin Smith is still threatening us with Clerks 3. It was also jarring to see Smodcast pictures because prior to this, the Kevin Smith timeline, we're still in the like late 90s, so everything's still viewed as skewed and whatnot, so we haven't gotten to fucking weed smoking podcast Kevin Smith. We're still in tubby view to skewed Kevin Smith times. So it's just like time travel. What's going on? I'm scared. Um, that laughter though starts. It starts with like actual cackling, and I know it's the two hosts. It's what are their fucking names? Wallace Brighton and Teddy Kraft, as played by Justin Long, and the Sixth Sense / Kingdom Hearts' own Haley Joel Osmond. Which again, I'm glad Haley Joel Osmond's around. Like, so I'm trying to think of like what I've seen him in after that. It was what Sixth
Jail
Sense, Kingdom
for a little
Hearts,
while.
Oh,
Jail. Was he in Zack and Miri Make a Porno, or am I mistaking him
it's
for
definitely been
fucking?
in other things.
What's up?
It's definitely been in other things recently.
Right. I know he had an appearance on What We Do in the Shadows. I want to say season 2, episode 1. Hold on. I'm trying to figure out if he's in. Bear with me.
I'm checking myself because I completely forgot.
Right.
I did
Okay,
really enjoy older Haley Joel Osment's character in this movie.
Yes.
It's just a
Oh,
solid
so
dude.
I completely forgot about AI, artificial intelligence, a Steven Spielberg movie.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
You mean a Stanley Kubrick movie?
Right. Was that a Spielberg finish it or
was.
whatever? Yeah.
It started Kubrick.
Oh, starred
and
it. Written by.
ended,
Oh no.
because Kubrick died like mid production of it, so Spielberg finished it. It's actually like one of my like top 5 favorites.
Oh yeah, in 1995, Kubrick handed AI to Spielberg. The film was back momentum until Kubrick's back in 1999. Anyway, yeah, mostly I knew Haley Joel from The Sixth Sense and Kingdom Hearts, so when I see him showing up, and I feel like so it was also based on true events, which we know not quite true, but whatever. It's a good joke. Man, it's I also had to like do a double take because the name of the podcast is the Nazi Party, which.
I'm gonna spell it out in chat to
Yes, please
Yeah,
do.
it is NOTSEE, like not
But
E.
for a hot minute, I thought Haley Joel Osment was wearing a fucking Ninja Sex Party T-shirt, and I was like, "Whoa, did I miss something here?"
You saw NSP, right? That's exactly
Right,
what
yeah.
I thought.
Right, I was like, "Damn, I didn't know." Like, I know that they have a loyal and like they're biggish, but I didn't think featured a Kevin Smith biggish.
For 2014, that would have been around the time that like Game Grumps was taking off. So yeah, it would have made sense. But no, unfortunately, in this case, it is the Nazi Party called that way because Justin Long's character Wallace will go and interview viral people from viral videos, and Haley Joel Osment's character Teddy, who refuses to fly or travel, will not see the person, and Wallace will like interview them and then describe their interaction via phone, and that's apparently the hook of the podcast. Also, he does a Matthew McConaughey orgasm impression for the Twilight Zone Come Zone. They supposedly made $100,000 off this podcast, and I don't fucking get it.
What, the Smodcast or the Nazi part? Like both.
Wait, you can't believe that 2 offensive, horrible, mean-spirited podcasters could make a bunch of money?
Valid. No, because we don't see that. How dare you, Switch? Where's our platform? No, joking.
I'm just saying,
no,
they're
I
out there.
definitely can see that. I just wish the jokes were funnier because
Fair, yeah.
Yeah, I grew up. This is not a flex or anything, but I grew up with a dad who let me listen to Howard Stern with him in the car. So like, I am aware that like that kind of like humor has a market. Also, the rise of satellite radio, blah blah blah. But I did like the fact that instead of doing the Star Wars kid, they did the Kill Bill kid. I think that was like a clever parody of. Yeah.
Not to mention Parks was in Kill Bill, so
right,
like nice little nod off.
Yeah, that dude he was in a bunch of Tarantino stuff, right? Like he played the same character. Like he had a character that pop up in Kill Bill, pop up in something else. I want to say. What's the? Hold on, I had the fucking had it up earlier. I apologize.
Yes, he did. He played the same character in Grindhouse.
Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah.
So apparently, Tarantino was also in talks to be in this movie briefly.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like either as Johnny Depp's character or perhaps as Wallace himself?
No, it was Johnny Depp's character, and he told Kevin Smith he just wasn't feeling acting at the moment. Which, you know what? Like, that's a good response. Like, shout out to Tarantino. I was like, no, I don't. It's not very mean. It's a very respectable. Just like, no, I don't want to do that. And I assume there's no bad blood between the two of them.
Apparently what had happened was they asked him to do Johnny Depp's role. He thought he was they wanted him to do Wallace. And I have a theory that he heard that, like, well, what happens to Wallace? Oh, well, he gets his feet cut off. Nope, not. Can't, Kevin, I have a code.
Oh, he'd never be okay
Damn
with
it, Tom.
that.
Can't.
Hold on. Let me just get the air horn react for that one. Just.
Oh no.
And I'm seeing now that I'm fired.
Yeah. Just because I'm not a real legal aid anymore doesn't mean I can't fucking use my legal powers. Anyway, usual setup. Right, and so like Wallace's character reminds me a lot of like the atypical Kevin Smith character, i.e., horny nerd, what makes Star Wars joke.
Mhm.
So like for a hot minute, I'm like, okay, if something bad happens to him, I'm not gonna feel bad because like I rewatched Mallrats this past year, and if anything happened to Brody and what the fuck, whatever the hell Brody's friend was in Mallrats,
TJ.
yeah,
think.
vanilla water, yeah, just a plain
Worse
boy.
Brendan Fraser, yeah.
You mean Batgirl's own Brendan Fraser?
Oh.
I'm very excited for that.
Um,
He's playing the bad guy in the new Batgirl movie that's coming out. HBO Max.
Really?
Yeah.
really? Oh,
Everyone's
that's
assuming
awesome.
it's fire. It's great. No, I'm like again, like Brendan Fraser is the opposite of Justice Lost
Oh, I thought you were
character.
talking. No,
I
TS.
am ready for a renaissance of Brendan Fraser. Absolutely.
Same.
TS.
Doom
yes,
Patrol is
TS.
Doom Patrol is so fucking good, and
Chef's kiss.
I love him in Doom Patrol so much.
I just would much rather talk about that than this. Anyway, right. But also like it's obviously like I don't think it's a Kevin Smith stand-in, but it's kind of like a Kevin Smith analog with like fart joke, corny Star Wars joke. A lot of weird like ableist and like shit around the kid with one leg and whatnot. Well, I'm not sure if I overread that or just the way I felt though, but it had that kind of vibe to it.
Well, it was definitely, but it was also foreshadowing, I think, like showing how cruel he is to this kid and,
Right.
what's to come. So I
Right.
think it's set up.
Yeah.
It specifically, I have a line of dialogue directly from here. The one-legged wonder, the master of self-mutilation, and that's all you do if you're the one-legged kid. You just sit your ass down forever. Like, yeah, this is definitely foreshadowing. Foreshadowing even so much that it, this might be a bit of a reach, but I saw someone bring this up and it did kind of intrigue me. The fact that they are playing foosball and, foosball flippers, kind of a little appropriate.
That's like
That's
that's the thing
interesting.
with Kevin Smith. He's sometimes an accidental genius.
Yeah.
Like something will happen and that was not intended, but it works. And but sometimes he's just good at his job and you can't even tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if he were really a genius, he would make a podcast with Justin Long, Haley Joel Osmond, and himself, and it would be called "Fuck Bruce Willis," the podcast.
Kevin Smith, I know you're watching. He's not watching. He doesn't give a fuck. Please make that podcast. If they could have Tracy Morgan on as a guest character, I'd watch that in a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat. If that's fuck Moose Jaws, whatever. I wanna like Patreon that podcast.
Oh, come on.
That being said, I would absolutely watch Moose Jaws because I like mooses entirely. They're like jacked up fucking deer.
Oh, I want to
know, like, is it?
Oh,
no. Well, is it like a moose shark? A shark moose? Is there any? Is there water involved, or is it just a moose that's hunting people?
I read it as a moose is hunting people. Like it's Jaws in the Canadian wilderness.
Good.
Which I mean, either or. Like if it's some sort of moose shark, that would rule, or just like a moose that hangs out in the water and emerges and eats both.
It's a water moose.
There's a lot of
moose.
Yes. There's a lot of ways this movie could rule. Kevin Smith, if you're taking pictures, get at me.
See, I'm envisioning like the scene of like the shark fin popping out of the water and sliding down, but it's in like a avalanche snowfall. You just see the antlers come up and just going through. Doo-doo, hey. Doo-doo, hey.
Apologies in advance
Boot.
if you're from Canada because
Brilliant.
both
Buddha,
for what
Buddha,
we
Buddha,
what we
Buddha,
say and
Buddha.
what Kevin Smith says. um,
Love it.
do like that Wallace is from New Jersey. Kevin Smith, keeping Jersey strong. That's like something I don't like. Every time he mentions Jersey, we're like, yay, Jersey, because he's Jersey. I get that. I understand the reference. Yay!
This movie made me remember that Epic Mealtime existed. For about 3 years, I
I was
think I
gonna
blocked.
yes.
What was that? The dude at the fucking
Haley,
Yeah.
what's his or Harley, what's his name? He's
Morenstein.
also named
Quinn?
Harley. Yes. Not two Harleys in this movie. Two Harleys.
Yes.
But what if
Oh, so
three
the guy
Harleys?
with the beard was the Epic Mealtime guy.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was the sauce
Okay.
boss.
Okay. I hate how much I enjoy that character with his list
Oh,
of
that was great.
Canada do's and Canada dotes. Like, oh yeah, it's just cheesy
Yeah.
jokes after jokes, and like that was good.
Red and white, but never blue.
Right. Sam, this was made by the USA. I was like, that's ooh, like
I
that's a
love-
call out.
I
Not
love
the-
that red and white but never blue is actually on a t-shirt, like, later on in the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
That was good. We're not nice, we're tolerant.
Yes.
Right, like the pro Canada like jokes here. Like this is a good scene because it's just like good one-liners delivered by a YouTube man. Don't say Hitler in an airport.
I love that cut too between that and then just the snapping of the passport. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, yeah. What was it also from the devils to the kings was the line?
Mm-hmm. Which
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
to me feels like a very, like, obviously there's a little bit of inspiration in this from the Carpenter and the Walrus, and
Right.
a line like between the devils and the kings just sounds like such a very Lewis Carroll style line.
Right. And it's a reference to the New Jersey Devils and the LA Kings, which also like I like it when Kevin Smith talks about hockey
Same.
because like he's such a 24/7 nerd all the time. It's like Star Wars, DC, Marvel, and it's like no, Kevin, you're allowed to talk about hockey. Sports are okay to talk about. Like you let your jock out, Kevin. It's fine. Fucking Jets. Anyway.
There's a lot of that sort of fanciful language throughout it, and I mean, especially when you get into the bulk of it, like that. It's I don't know. I don't. A lot of times you can read into the dialogue, and I think you can do that, but I do think it operates on a level of humor where it's just like, this is so weird that it's funny. Like nobody
It's-
talks like this, or do they in
it's-
Canada?
I don't think they do, but I appreciate
Yeah.
Smith trying. Like, I feel bad for like not being the biggest fan of this movie because he's honestly trying. Like, he's definitely
Mhm.
trying to do a horror comedy, which in itself is kind of rough. I feel like it's just like it's not like you don't hear about a lot of like horror comedy. Like there's not every year we don't get a new horror comedy. It's like once every 3 or 4 years we get something that bangs. Like Jennifer's Body is a movie that tanked upon release, but now has a second life on streaming and rental.
And a
Evil
much
Dead
better
Army
director's
Darkness.
cut.
Yeah, Evil Dead Army Darkness. I feel like didn't get their praises until like those movies were on VHS and passed around. You know,
Yeah.
Mhm.
even then the fucking Ash's show got canceled two seasons in. Ash vs.
Oh.
Evil Dead was what?
I don't think that's I'm very Army of Darkness and Evil Dead is like my favorite thing.
Oh
So I don't-
no, they're good, but I say
Oh, hell yeah.
it still got canceled at the end of the day, which
Yeah.
upsets me because like those movies like that. Army of Darkness is like one of my favorite movies. I'm like I would again much rather talk about that than this movie, but I fucking love those
Sorry.
movies. But like anyway, it's just one of those things where I feel
Yeah.
like horror comedies should be a slam dunk. But
It
they're
is
still-
hard though.
Yeah, right, because it's two different extremes. Because you want your jokey jokes, but also you want body harm. Wow, words are hard. Body harmor. Body horror, that's the word I'm looking for, or like spookums or whatever, and like it's a hard mix. And I appreciate Smith going for it. There are some good jokey jokes, but I don't feel like it's anyway.
It's a mixed bag for sure, but I feel like more often than not, like I it's hard to like. There's a part of me that wants to look at this movie like a little bit deeper, but at the same time, I also have read interviews with Kevin Smith where he's like, "Man, I just wanted to showcase a movie where Michael Parks is a fucked up person who yells poetic to a guy in a fucking walrus suit," and I'm like, nah, you know what? Sometimes I can take this movie at its base level that he just wants to see two guys in walrus suits fucking button heads while Fleetwood Mac plays, and I can
I
respect
could hear. I just hear Kevin Smith too. Just like he has such a unique voice now. Like older Kevin Smith sounds like I don't want to say a Joe Rogan, but like he has like his own like sound, if that makes sense. His own like accent, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, I just want to make a movie where some horses and and build and make a kill Bill. The God, what's the line? He killed Bill himself.
Yeah.
That I hate how much I like that wordplay. It's the lowest hanging fruit. He grabbed it. And I was like, that looks pretty good. Thanks, Kevin. Nom, 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 nom.
To me, though, it also seemed like all the literary stuff and the nice wordplay actually, to me, kind of serves like a purpose in the narrative because, like, I remember the first thing I thought to myself when I first saw this movie is that, like, Wallace is picking up on some literary, like, drops that I would never have picked up. Like, he picked up Hemingway, he picked up the Rhyme in the Mariner, he picked up Lewis Carroll, and I'm like, to me, like, it shows that, like, this guy is probably way smarter than he lets on, but he probably just lets the persona of what he's been building, as I'll call it later on, the new Wallace versus the old Wallace. Like, old Wallace was probably really fucking smart and really clever, and just like the more of the base mentality and the base attitude pays off because comedy, sometimes the lowest common denominator works. I'm like, he probably kind of forgot like how smart and clever he could actually be, and then went full asshole.
Which I feel like there's also like there's a story in that within itself because
Yeah.
being an asshole sells.
Mhm.
But yeah, again, it's what you're saying.
So I wonder how much of that is an inference from Kevin Smith's own personal experience.
Oh yeah,
Like there's always that narrative quality in his movies.
right. Yeah, I mean, also like the dude, he's had not the best time in Hollywood, so I'm sure he like he's seen some shit.
Yeah.
Uh, right. So Wallace gets to Canada, finds out goes to the Kill Bill kid's house. Kid has killed himself. There's a funeral going on. He's very upset that his interview got ruined. Goes to a bar, and he stumbles upon I guess a poster about someone going on about how he's a retired seaman, which I can't help but think that's also a sperm joke because this is Kevin Smith that we're talking about.
We can't forget in times like this that he actually named the production company, the LLC that made this movie, after a walrus dick.
I was gonna say there's a lot of conversation about walrus penis in this.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. At the end of the day, I can say I learned a lot more about Walsh genitalia than I know going into that, which is nothing. And versus
more
now,
than
I
I
know
wanted to
something.
know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I also like. I want to know like if Kevin Smith went down to like a fucking library. I was just like, I need all your books you have on walrus penises, and then being like, sir, can you please leave?
We don't have any.
The clerk, the clerk's guy is
You're
asking
on a
about
list
walrus
now.
dick again.
And yeah, and by him I mean an intern, and by intern I mean Jason Mewes.
Also, like, can we talk about the weird number of scenes of Justin Long peeing in this movie?
Yeah,
'Cause, like,
okay. I thought that was a Chris thing, and I didn't want to say anything because I like that's so weird. But yeah, I'm not sure if there's a lot of it or just like two scenes of him in the bathroom, three scenes of him in the bathroom, back to back to back, really quick, right?
yeah,
It is
it
true.
it's weird. Like, it's that fucking meme of like, well, this only happened twice, but still, 2 times is too many.
How many pee scenes do you need in a movie to establish what?
Right? Yeah. Like what? Like I can understand if it's set up like he had like a nervous tick, or like he could only perform. He can only be a nice guy when he's peeing or something like that. But it didn't really serve any purpose aside from pee.
Making him kind of gross, I
Right.
think.
What one plot point, and he loves drinking beverages. Like I don't, you know.
Yeah, he went in and got the fucking grip and sip from
Right.
from fucking 7-Eleven. I
God,
thought
what the
um,
fuck is
Well,
that?
the
That
name of
name?
it, yes, because it's the something.
oh, chug
Yeah.
a glug or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. I just like the name of the store was, let's see, Hauser's. It was to Z.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
E to easy. But
No, it's
to Z.
like AH-2-Z.
Yeah, but that's
ZD is
supposed to
yeah.
be because Z is Z. It's supposed to be E/Z or E-Z.
I don't get it. E to C. E to C.
Like
Yeah.
But it's Canadian, so they'd say so it's like Ed is
Right,
Ed.
like,
No.
I don't get that joke, and I'm not sure if Kevin Smith, like, had a joke in mind, and he fucked up his own joke, or we're just not getting it. And I'm willing to believe either at this point.
Well,
Um, also, this is me being an idiot. When he mentioned that the old retired seaman, pause for laughter, lived in Bifrost, I was like, oh, this motherfucker's making a door joke. And no,
oh,
no, no,
absolutely.
no, there's a place actually called Bifrost, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I forgot that too.
Yeah, I was just
Sounds
like, I didn't even
erotic.
know that. That's how much I'm not. Yeah, that's on me, not Kevin Smith.
The way Justin Long says erotic in that sentence immediately made me think of Homer going, "Ooh, erotic cakes."
Justin Long, who I bear no ill will toward Justin Long, but yeah, his character's a real a dick bag. So we get to the E to Z, and lo and behold, Harley Quinn Smith and Johnny's Death daughter, whose name I did not take right down.
Is it Lily?
Lily Rose Depp.
Okay, that's that sounds on brand for being the daughter of Johnny Depp's name.
Mm.
And I
They
feel bad
are,
because they're young
yeah, they're the
actresses, but like
two Colleens, Colleen McKenzie and Colleen Collette.
that's a what is that like a weird Canada joke? It feels like a weird Canada joke.
A lot of Colleens in Canada. All right, maybe.
I don't. Yeah, right. I feel like I missed the third of this movie because I don't get all the Canada jokes, assuming they're actually like based on anything.
I don't know.
Right. It's like I like Kevin Smith. I'm like usually his poo poo fart jokes I get, but I feel like I like there's an entirely different level of just like lol Quebec that I just didn't get. Bifrost, Manitoba.
There are definitely a lot of like very particular Canada jokes in this. Like apparently, uh, what the name of the burger joint that they go to is like a reference to like Quebec glider, but the name of the place is like Quebec Sliders, and it's like it was a
Yes.
plane that like managed to stay afloat when it was like low on fuel and did this really like crazy landing, but that's like what it's named after. And the scene of Johnny Depp smashing the burgers is like a reference to
Yeah.
basically like Canada White Castle, where like the burgers are really really thin.
Okay. Because I saw that happen. I was like, yeah, that's the weirdest thing. Also, fun fact: Bifrost does not exist anymore.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah. It ceased on January 1st, 2015. It is now merged with the village of Riverton.
Oh.
just
Oh, it's
keep them
now
small.
the municipality of Bifrost hyphen Riverton. So there's some fun Canada
Canada
zoning
news.
lore. Yeah. This is
Oh,
the
the
most I've looked into
stuff is
Canada
dated.
in a non-Weapon X related scenario. Schnick schnick Wolverine. Anyway, that's mole rats. So yeah,
So
there's a whole scene where he goes to Bifrost and ends up in. So the state name was called Pibby Hills, which
Pippi
I have the
Hill.
note. Yeah. This is a really like stylish scene I thought, and it was weird. That's the first time it dawned on me that like I'm watching a Kevin Smith movie made in the last decade, so like it's shot in HD and like doesn't look like it's shot on a camcorder and a credit card, which was wild.
If you actually listen to like when he parks the car and is walking up to Pippi Hill Manor, you can actually kind of hear the like percussion from TUSK playing. None of the other
Huh.
instruments, but you can hear that like that beat playing as he's going up, which is a nice touch that I didn't pick up on until I was basically rewatching it like right before we went live.
Yeah, that was like a super tense. Like the music was super tense and at the time I was like, "What the fuck's going on?" And looking back now, I'm like, "Oh, it's a setup. I see. I get movie. I critique." And yeah, we're introduced to Michael Park's character. Is it Howard Howe or How Howard?
How? Well, because it's How was his last name, but then it
Howard Howe.
became
Okay.
Howard. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, because that whole like exchange of him explaining his name, I'll admit I got a little lost in the accent, and I was like, "Wait, what now?"
Yeah,
Like
that
they're
that whole
supposed to.
person. I mean, the introduction of his character is just so like with the just the long monologues that are very like lull you to sleep. I mean, I think that's also part of the setup, but it's
Right.
really immediate tone shift.
It reminded me a lot. I watched Midnight Mass with Amanda last month,
Oh yeah.
And I liked the most of it, but also that Prestige Netflix miniseries had a lot of monologuing, and after a while, I just wanted something bad to happen to the characters because I don't like when monologues going too long. It's like it's like fucking. If someone said this about Phantom Menace, if everything is CGI special effects, then there's not really any special effects. So if
Mm-hmm.
anything's a fucking monologue, it loses meaning. So then, like his big old spiel, every time I hear that, it's like a part of my brain just like beep boop monologue, shut down now. And then yeah, Tom, I have two notes. One, a lot of damn, there's a lot of peeing in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And when he turned the little doll around, all caps, haunted doll watch. Taylor will appreciate this.
Ah, yes. It's
Yes.
a familial callback.
Yes, yeah, there. We officially have attached the Snark brand to Max Fun. Max Fun now give us money.
Oh no, I'm in trouble.
What? Yeah, listen, I'll just show up to Justin Scoops McElroy's house. I'm like, hi, part of the network now. What's going on?
Some scoops?
No, I said I'll show up to your brother-in-law's house. I'm like,
Justin
hey,
Scoops
what?
McElroy? Did you
Yeah, it's like, what up, champ?
Yeah, you can expect a paycheck from Justin Scoops McElroy.
Is it hoops? I
It's
forget which one
hoops.
it is.
You're
Hoops.
thinking. You're thinking.
Damn it.
You're thinking of Patrick Kleptic.
God damn it! Once again, my
There you
online.
go.
I'm mistaken my online boys.
That's fine. No, you get the off-brand Justin. He might pay you. He'll pay
Hooray!
you
Uh,
cereal.
Finally.
so
He'll pay me
apparently
in
that
Bitcoin.
like turning the doll away was actually a reference to like something Kevin Smith actually did, and uh, man, I went to my friend Johanna, whose family is like extremely Icelandic, and their bathroom had like 20 dolls in it, and I gotta say that was the weirdest pee I've ever had in my entire life.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about having like I'm a man who owns a lot of dumb stuff in general. Like, there no less than 20 Funko Pop in arm's reach of me. The bathroom, no, but I don't like keeping stuff in the bathroom that doesn't
You don't
belong there.
display your Funko Pops in the bathroom?
No, I
Huh.
wouldn't. That's my guests. Also, I don't have that. I live in New York. I don't have that
Those
kind of
little eyes
space.
staring at you.
Yeah, no. I'd rather have. Yeah, no. Check out my Peggy Carter. She stares at you.
While you pee.
Please, I also would put a set of taste for like a Dale Cooper, but I would not do that anyway. um, yeah,
Man.
like that's also very like relatable. Like that's one of those like funny little quirk things where he turns the dolls around because they don't want to see them pee. I'm like, okay, that's cute. Like that was a good goof. I get that. And then
Like
we
you
had
can,
go on.
I was gonna say you can look at that house and see that like this is a man who is like extraordinarily like lonely. That's the first thing I think of when I see that house, and not even in a like the note I had was like he started talking about his second wife, when
His
he
wife.
when he came out of the bathroom, and like the first thing I thought to myself was like this guy was married because like that house just basically screams like. I mean, obviously now we know a little more about his character. It was probably a lie, but
Yeah.
I'm like this house screams basically like bachelor for life.
Yeah, and I
um,
think as we get more of the story, I think we can discuss that. But I feel like as lovely as a lot of his early stories are, and kind of sad and sweet, I think that my opinion is I don't know if any of that was true.
Oh, probably not, but I like the flashbacks. I thought that was
Yeah.
a cute. That reminded me, for some reason, the lighthouse. Every time that happened, just a black and white. I was like, oh no, watch out for mermaids and
Hmm.
seagulls. But spoilers for the lighthouse, by the way. Another A24 clip. Again, that's the A24 I'm used to. Like that
Ah,
did
yeah,
some
yeah.
art, not Kevin Smith. No, Kevin Smith's Tusk.
We're gonna disagree about what art is right now, but all right.
It's a very good suit. So Taylor, I lost my shit because I've had a similar conversation, but the bit where Wallace has to explain what having a podcast is like.
Okay. So there's the one moment of actual horror I had in watching this movie is when he has to explain what a podcast is, because that's too close to home. Like, you're at the bank or something. It's like, well, what do you do? And I'm like, ah, shit. It's a show. It's a radio show, but not the radio. I swear somebody pays me for it. Like, true cringe in that moment.
Yeah. First off, like I've definitely heard other people have that conversation before, and not in comedy, but like not a part like not in comedy, like not in a movie, but like before. And two, I've had that conversation where I had to explain what Twitch was to my mom,
Hmm.
and then who ninja like. She also thought there were two ninjas. There was the blue-haired man what plays the Fortnite, but then Ellen has a DJ named Ninja, I think, or at some point. I don't know. She was telling me she learned about both ninjas via Ellen, and that's a whole that's a whole different talk. Uh, so after the great podcast explanation, tea is happening, and can't lose and can't lose with booze is such a dumb like high school thing to say, but also clearly believable. I was like, that's a good rhyme. I like that. Appreciate
That's
that.
a very Jersey line. That is a
Oh,
very Jersey line.
do love that. Do love that. Right, and we had the Hemingway, yeah, Operation Neptune. Hemingway's thrown out. The he's called the Kitchen Witch, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that was very good. He still has the bottle that Hemingway drank from. Look at it. That whole like flashback was very cute in a way, like the black and whites the costumes. I was like, oh, that's actually like a cute little fun flashback.
I love that Hemingway pops up because on one of my other podcasts on Neat, it's Alcohol History Podcast, and we talk a lot about just all sorts of cocktail histories. And Hemingway pops up in like one out of every five significant cocktail stories. He's just always there somewhere in the world making a significant drink. So that he would pop up in this movie is like, yeah, he might have done that. That's maybe true.
That's wild. Yeah, I'm not the most literate dude in the world. Like I up to 5 years ago, I was like, oh man, Catching a Rise is a pretty good book, and then I didn't realize there was a discourse around that, and I
Uh-oh.
get it. So now I'm just like, I like the book I have not read since high school in that way, and then I talk about what Warcraft novel I'm reading because again, I'm well
Right.
read. um,
I
then
like the
it shift.
discussion. Oh, really quick. I
Go, go,
like the
go, go on.
discussion they have about like being a storyteller. Because like, hey, that's actually what I do at my job. Like I've literally had to take courses on like, storytelling for business and what like that. And storytelling is 98% bullshit and 2% making people believe it. So I really liked his speech about items, like particularly he's talking about the bottle, and he's like, with enough time and enough stories, the item becomes like the avatar for the story or something like that. It wasn't an exact quote, but I really liked that line of like, you know, keeping an item and basically weaving a story around it. And if it's not completely truth, if you can still tell the story good about it, like it makes it effectively true.
Which
Yeah,
I
like.
also think. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go first. You go first.
Oh, I say I think it's also interesting that that's also a bit of foreshadowing again for the idea that this guy is completely leading him on and lying to
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
him because he's
Right.
basically
Yeah.
said, "I'm a liar."
Yeah. No, I was actually about to say something similar. It's like Kevin Smith, like I have to Smith credit where credit's due because this dude is basically telling his bullshit right to his face, and like it's
Mhm.
such a like it's the audience. It's like, oh no, some crazy old sea man who just want to tell some stories. It's like, oh no, he's a killer. Spoilers for
Yeah.
TUSK, by the way. We were pretty spoiled, but so of course after that great fucking artsy like talk about storytelling, we cut to Wallace cock talk.
Mm-hmm.
Which yeah, I learned a lot about War's
Yeah.
penises that I'm not gonna repeat because no, just no. I don't want to be the podcast that talks about War's cock.
There probably is one though out
I don't
there.
I'm not gonna do that research.
No, no.
Welcome,
I
welcome
did.
to Blubber Talk.
There's a podcast for that. I think is a fair assertion for most things.
Yeah, if not a podcast, a YouTube channel now.
Yeah.
Welcome to Blub and Chub, our weekly podcast about walrus dick. Blub, 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 blub. Oh, look at that! I've been fired again.
So anyway, why I drive out of here,
No.
my gamer chair, into the
Oh.
pouring rain, thus proving my girlfriend cannot arrive only in the shittiest weather. We got another flashback to 1959, where Howard Howe reveals that he was on a fishing boat that went down somewhere in Siberia, and he was saved by a smuggly walrus named Mr. Tusk. And I'm not sure if that like that part is true. I'm not sure how like what the nature of that is. Like are Wallace known for saving sailors or just impaling them with their tusks?
I don't think they're particularly cuddly. Like I
Right.
don't think
Yeah.
that they would embrace you in their blubbery bosom if you were
Right.
cold.
Right. I think of it more of a tauntaun scenario with Star Wars, where you cut them open and climb into the fat.
Yeah.
Uh, which I'm not advocating that. I'm just saying that's probably the more likely scenario.
Wouldn't, I'm just
More than
not
Um,
likely wanted
advocating
to eat
hugging a
him.
walrus.
yeah. I also like the weird line. I'm not sure if this is racist or just like an old timey thing where he says, "Cutest for Chinese babies."
Yeah, that was weird. That was
Yeah.
that seems like a very 1950s.
Hmm.
It's racist, but we didn't realize it was racist kind of thing. But you
Right.
really should have been able to tell that.
Right. Um.
Not
Yeah. At this
kosher
point.
is the
Yeah.
term I'm gonna use.
Okay. Right. So as this is all happening, Wallace is drinking more and more in the tea, and he blacks out.
Which the
Because
second
he's
you say
probably
this
drunk.
doesn't taste like tea, stop drinking
Yeah.
the tea.
Right.
Yeah.
Um. All right. So we have our first flashback. Which in true Kevin Smith's form starts with a girl going down on her boyfriend. It's Wallace's girlfriend, Allie. And then what's the talk about how what he does is kind of vicious and exploitive. Him being a real piece of shit says her blowing him and stop is also vicious and exploitive, which ooh, like it's good to set up that he's like it's rough, but does a good job of setting up this character as an asshole. To
Hmm.
this point, we're kind of like indifferent, like the shock job. There's the shock jock vibe, but doesn't necessarily mean he's a bad guy. Here, it's just like, oh no, this guy's also kind of a dick.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, and they
But
also drive home the idea that he maybe wasn't always a dick. You
yes,
know, that
yeah,
the man that she fell in love with was a very different man, and that's very painful
right,
for her. So we get the first indication of that.
right. There's
Hmm.
the talks about how he used to go on stage nervously during stand up and make Star Wars jokes that only he would get. But then she'd point out that he was also kind of sweet and did a lot of nice stuff for her. And now he's a rich fucking not a millionaire, but a well-off podcaster who exploits people for getting fame.
Well, a
Which,
podcast.
well, I mean, all y'all are well-off podcasters, right?
Okay, hey, I'm
you're in
not.
your turtle mansion, 50
Yeah,
miles
you
above sea level, drinking Chardonnay.
absolutely. Oh, it's Chardonnay. I
I
mean,
will
maybe the Chardonnay part is true. That's it.
I will say it's an absolute hate crime for Kevin Smith to start that scene off by literally focusing in right on that horrible fucking mustache. I wanted to
Yeah.
set that
Oof.
fucking thing on fire.
Yeah, listen, y'all, I'm a man with facial hair. I blast my beard off, so it's growing back now. But like, I appreciate a good beard. Like, as a openly bisexual man, a good beard's okay. That fucking porn stash, no, I don't know why people keep on like mustaches in general. I feel like no, just
Freddie
stop.
Mercury did it already. He perfected it. He
Right,
good.
Mm,
right.
and maybe it's just character building, right? Like this is the kind of guy that would think this is a good look. So, you know.
Valid point. Valid point. I just think in general though, I just don't like mustaches.
Oh,
I
I
don't.
Oh,
mean,
it's
it's
just bad, yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
like it's a walrus mustache. It's I think of the
Right.
fucking image
Right.
from I think
Oh
of
no!
the MythBusters image of
Tom
the
fucking busted this open.
Oh, it
uh
was always there. It was always gonna happen.
It's- Kevin Smith, well, actually,
That's
Kevin
the
Smith,
gun placed in the opening act. It's
fuck,
just the mustache.
Kevin Smith, fucking
Checo
the Mad Lad.
stash.
It should be Smith stash. He fucking right
Oh
there.
god.
Um,
It is
That's
it's always been
brilliant,
right
Tom.
there.
once
But
again, Kevin Smith fucking wins in the end.
but literally like this entire sequence is kind of like it's to me there's like odd parallels between like Metamorphosis and this movie of like a person becoming something else. And literally like it's show like the whole talk of new Wallace, it's like old Wallace, new Wallace, and soon to be newer Walrus.
Oh, new. Oh, god damn it. I'm
Are you
mad
just
because
now realizing that
Oh,
Wallace
no,
is a
no,
walrus
Not
pun?
no.
Okay,
I've
okay.
I've had
all
so
the
Tom.
delicate foreshadowing
No,
that didn't even occur to you.
in my notes, I was gonna build up to that joke. I just had that like in the chamber. I had my it's you know what it is, right? Oh my god, Tom, it's Overwatch. I was McCree. I had my ult. I was waiting for the time to line up, and then you went and fucking dropped your diva mech and wiped the other team.
I
So
sure did.
God damn it. God damn it. I'm mad because Tom got to point that out before I did. That's
That's
why.
it. We're done. We're
Yeah.
leaving.
I was like, fuck your Empire bullshit. I'm out. Ugh. Gonna stream
Uh,
Fortnite. See you guys tomorrow. No, anyway.
uh,
No, I'm
but
well aware of that. I just want to say the joke first. Anyway.
but yeah,
Oh.
it's literally it's basically Howard and Wallace are two men creating their own monster for the sake of their own benefit. Howard wants to have his walrus back, and Wallace wants to further his career and an AMC name drop because comic book men wants to like I kind of feel like both sides of Wallace, we talked about this earlier, but sides of Kevin Smith himself, because I'm sure he's had opportunities to kind of be the Kevin Smith that his fans expect him to be, with the super crude jokes, and keep being the same person that you were in 1994, 1996. Keep shitting on people, keep making fun of, keep punching down, and you'll make a career out of that, as we've kind of seen with talks on comedy nowadays. And I feel like old Wallace is kind of him trying to almost kind of pull himself back to being a better person. So there's a little bit of that internal struggle that I think everyone kind of hits when they kind of hit their late 20s, early 30s, and it's like, wow, the person who I was at 15, 16 sucked ass. I don't want to be that person ever again. I sure as hell feel that way.
Same.
Yeah. Oh god. I don't like being Chris 31, let alone Chris 16. Anyway,
Oh.
so after the flashback, Wallace wakes up. He's in a wheelchair. Um, Howard claims that a brown recluse spider came and bit him on the spine, and Dr. Bassow, Dr.
Musao.
Bussy, Dr. Bassow,
Wow.
had to come by and lob off his leg to save his life.
Not how
I,
a spider bite works, but all right.
Yeah, I don't, yeah, I was yeah, it's obviously he's lying because the story doesn't add up. Why, if you got bit
Yeah.
in the spine, why would you have to lob off the leg?
I thought it
Also,
was his ankle
they show
that they
that
said.
what's up?
They said he got bit on the ankle, but they had to
Oh,
inject his spine to
yeah,
paralyze him.
right. Which,
And
I
here,
don't, yeah,
spider facts with Tom. Brown recluse are some of the most venomous spiders on the planet. They are still not that. They are not life-threateningly or limb-threateningly bad of a bite. It's gonna suck. It's gonna hurt, but it's gonna be about the same level as a very painful bee sting, as opposed to
right,
well, that arm is gone. They're don't look them up. They're fucking horrible looking, but
Yeah. Well, they do
they're
have necrotic venom, so if you let a wound go untreated, you could lose a limb, but that would take some time.
I'm
time.
sure Andy
You
is
would
loving
need
this
to.
talk.
You would need multiple spiders venom worth of it to actually lose potentially lose a limb. The only
Right.
the famous images that we've all seen, and by all I mean probably me, of
Yeah.
Me too.
really
Lord knows.
okay.
Okay, fine. You two
I've
spider
done that,
lovers.
Google.
No, I have not.
All of the really bad bites are people who have already been severely allergic to spiders.
Mm.
Those will do you in that case. But aside from that,
What a fun conversation.
spider
You didn't want to talk
most
about spiders?
yeah.
No. Spiders bad, sure.
You know what insect will fucking kill you? Centipedes. Stay the fuck away from them. They're horrifying. They're little
I
demon
do.
bastards with 10 scorpions worth of venom in them. Fuck
Yeah, I do my
centipedes.
best to stay away from most insects because I realize they
Aw.
play a very important part of our ecosystem. I just don't want to deal with them, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
I'm not
So that's spider
anti-insect.
talk.
Yeah, hooray.
And Spider Talk is
Yeah.
closed.
Shorts and George is now canceled. Taylor and Tom are now doing spider talk while I scream in the
All
traffic.
right. I'm down.
So,
Insect inspection.
also, I hate how quick you had that on lock.
City to
I'm
go.
good with that.
Also, this man's clearly lying because you can see the wound. It's just nasty sewn up.
Gnarly.
It's funny because I read a few reviews saying how disgusting this movie is, and it's definitely a grisly like cut, listening like, but nothing at no point I was like, oh god, I gotta stop watching this, and I'm not sure it's because I mean this has video games or just some people are just kind of squeamish when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen it compared to like the Human Centipede, and I don't think it hits that level of
Oh,
the concept is just not that
that's what I was gonna
bad.
say. Like, this is also you said body horror. This is like if I know it's not the case intentional, but it does feel like Kevin Smith's trying to do his own Human Centipede.
Mm, yeah.
If not intentionally, at least like unintentionally, because it's both like weird dark comedy slash horrors that involve body horror kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I
like
also think
Yeah.
they came out within the same like not the same time, but like within the same 5 year window. I want to say.
definitely inspired by like I would say more like Takashi Miike stuff.
Yeah, but I
Because
feel it's.
there's definitely like the whole concept of like limbs chopping off from Audition
Right.
and whatnot.
Quick side note. Back when that big, that the Human Centipede was, I think it's like one of the first movies you could stream on Netflix or whatever. Back when you could actually stream, when you put your DVD into your Xbox so you could stream Netflix content. Grandpa says in his gamer chair. We had three friends named Sean, and we had posed the question if there was a human Shaunapede, who would be the beginning, the middle, the end. I think Thomas met two of them, and that talk was a fascinating 20 minutes
Oh
with
my god.
with one of their then fiancés, now wife, sitting there going, "What the hell's wrong with you boys?"
I, I think
Anyway,
the year it came out, I made a Christmas cookie that was the Human Centipede, and my mom got very upset at me for making something
why?
so
Because you made
disturbing.
art, Taylor. They
I
tried to.
made art,
You
okay?
had
It was
that's art. This movie,
perfect
no.
Christmas cookie.
Human
My
centipede
mom
cookie,
who
yes.
yeah retweeted us tonight, so maybe she's watching.
Oh, I'm.
Sorry about the cookie, mom.
I
Yeah,
would make I would
I
make the
giggled when
best
I saw
like
that.
Danish like the braided Danish human centipede.
Oh, 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 oh,
With the filling. Ooh.
oh,
No.
oh. That's a new
So
YouTube.
body horror.
Yeah, it's the
So
Body Horror Bakery. It's new Taylor Tom's
um
new YouTube show. It's me
Love
vomiting in
it.
the background.
so it's actually
Sponsored by Insect.
so it's actually ironic we're talking about like movies that this is compared to. How can I paraphrase? Don't look up a single fucking any of the movies that's about to come out of my mouth in the next 2 minutes.
Okay.
Uh, there's a disturbing movie Iceberg. Um, and it's one of those things of like the 8 ranks of horrible movies, and rank 1 is like Friday the 13th, Child's Play, very basic horror films. Rank 2 is like slightly more disturbing horror films. I'm trying to remember, like Midsommar is on it. Um, and then rank number 3 is like Tusk, Human Centipede 2, which was way worse than 1, and like
Yeah.
Solo, 120 Days of Sodom, and a Serbian film.
Those do not.
Not
I'm
even
admitting that I've seen all of these movies, but those do not belong on the same tier as Tusk or either of the Human Centipedes. Actually,
not even remotely close.
is there a level under that?
Yes. Oh, that is level 3, and it goes down to level 8, but then level 8 is just like basically snuff films. Like
Okay, all
Hmm.
right, yeah.
I will send you the Iceberg. There's a 3-hour long breakdown that one person does where basically she describes the content of the film. Oh, it's also on the same level as things like Martyrs, which is also a fucking like horrifying movie.
Yeah, I don't think Martyrs is as bad as those other two.
Yeah.
That's a rough jump. Ooh.
The ones at the bottom tier are like literal, just like faces of death is like level 6, and then
Ooh.
Oh
yeah.
wow. Okay.
See, that's wild because like I didn't see half those movies, but I definitely was one of those kids who'd be hanging out in his friend's basement, and they'd be like, "Yo, you want to see Faces of Death?" And I'm like, "Oh, what's that?" And then 5 minutes later, I'm like, "Oh, because it's people dying. That's why it faces." Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, to be a kid on the internet in the early 2000s.
Yeah, no, this is the late '90s, so
Yeah.
it was AOL chats and the word and videos of monkeys fucking. A
Ooh.
lot
Yeah,
of just
a
a lot of
lot of
a
this,
lot of my friends are weird. Okay.
a lot of the stuff on the bottom of the list is like stuff you'd see on like Ogrish or Rotten.com or
Mhm.
Style Project or like um with such great movies like Fetus Munchers Volumes 1 and 2,
We made
Guso
a sequel.
Milk,
Cool.
Vomit Enema Ecstasy. I'm gonna shut the fuck up right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, moving along.
I guess I don't want to. I don't. Those are because those are all like caught on film things. Like it's interesting. That I would like one of those where there's just movies, like
Yep.
Right,
intentionally
and
made
not
films, not
not
snuff
not
films,
crime
not
scene evidence.
yeah, not just
Yes.
nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
Alicia just mentioned in chat, but the YouTuber I was talking about is Nyx Fears, and she did a fantastic 3-part breakdown of it where you can just see her soul like leaving her body through each of the parts. My favorite part is by the third part, she's like, I used to wear these fucking catgirl headpieces as a fucking joke. No, these are now my emotional support catgirl ears. Like,
Oh no, Nick Spear is also an excellent. Is it which like a horror YouTuber?
yeah.
That's a good name.
Okay.
That's a good ass name. That's very much like that spooky midnight like horror movie host name. Love that. So moving along from Tom Snuffield list, um, we cut to yeah. Howard wants his phone. Oh, sorry, Wallace wants his phone. Howard's like, "Oh, you can't have your phone. You broke it when you fell. The doctor stepped on it." He was like, "I want to speak to the doctor." He goes, "Oh, the doctor's making his rounds. He's, well, use your phone." It's like, "Oh, you don't have any phones? You need your Pierce." Man's lying to him. Cuts at dinner. Howard is enjoying a delicious meal. Wallace is staring at his because he can't move his arms due to the morphine. He's like, "Oh, well, you're sleepy." And Wallace is like, "I'm not sleepy. I'm just immobilized." He's like, and he's asking for a description of the spider, and Howard starts describing the spider, and then hard cuts to Itsy Bitsy Spider. Wallace realizes that he's kind of fucked in the scenario, and for his screaming, gets slapped upside the head, which is a very powerful slap. Like, I was like, damn, that's a good bad guy slap, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Also reveals that he can walk. Man's not
yes,
confined to a
yes,
wheelchair.
right. And then he has the reveal that that Wallace is gonna be soon to be wearing a very realistic Wallace suit. He must be a Wallace. And it proposed the question: is man indeed a Wallace at heart? Which it's a very dumb line, but it's said with such gravitas. It becomes a lesser actor would reveal it as stupid. The way that Michael Parks delivers it makes it amazing, and like it's obviously a joke, and I fucking lost my shit. I'm like, yes, this is what I signed up for.
The best part about it is at the end of the film, while the credits are playing, they have like the bit in the podcast that inspired all this. And I believe that's one of the lines that Kevin Smith says, and as soon as he says it, him and Scott just start like laughing their fucking asses off.
Yes.
It's also revealed at this point that, shocker, Teddy is sleeping with his perfect girlfriend.
Allie.
I found that scene where Allie is crying and talking about how cruel Wallace is to her, like actually weird. Like it was better acting than it needed to be, and like weirdly moving.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was a really beautiful scene where you don't realize who she's talking to. You realize she's talking to Teddy, is
Right.
right? And it's really like a surprise for everything else, kind of being on this border of like, is this serious or is this all just
Right.
like bullshit? Like that is a hard hitting scene.
What I really liked about that scene, so like where you said it was so well acted, it felt out of place in this movie because again, it was very well done. It also felt like it was breaking the fourth wall where she's talking to the audience, not
Yeah, that's true.
not the man baby she's living with. Nothing against Hallie Osmond, but fucking at one point in group chat, Tom was just like, "There's nothing more unbelievable about this movie than the fact that this girl was sleeping with the former baby known as Sora."
Aw.
It's
I think he's got
so
a good look about him in this
he
movie.
is, he is, and I love
He's an
the
attractive man.
I think he's an attractive man, and I think I love Haley Joel Osment, but just the scene where he goes to brush his teeth with like the little T-shirt, I'm like, this looks like a 10-year-old hopping into bed with mommy because he had a nightmare. Like that's the I don't like that. That's the first thing my mind went to, but that was the first thing my mind went to.
Oh, I don't like that at all. That's not where
I
my mind
hate it.
went. Now I'm not gonna see it differently.
I hate that that's where my mind went, but that's the first thing my mind went to.
Yeah. So, she's upset that Wallace is cheating on her. Which at this point has not been revealed. Which I was like, what the hell are you talking about? And also ironic because she's cheating on him with Teddy. Um, there's also it cuts back to a scene with Wallace and Teddy talking to each other in the quote unquote man cave / masturbation chamber. Just to, Kevin Smith to remind you all that he's still Kevin Smith, which I
Mhm.
appreciate that. Um, and then there's a scene where was it? Oh, it cuts back to the present where Wallace find if his phone's going off. It's her ringtone. Allie's calling her, trying to find out where he is. He runs to the phone, calls. She doesn't pick up. He leaves a voicemail.
Rolls to the phone.
Yeah. And then yeah, it cuts back to the past. There's more dialogue about Wallace being a piece of shit. He leaves Teddy the same voicemail, and then Howard shows up and El Kabong's him unconscious.
I'm shocked he didn't already have his phone broken.
Right, it seems like an oversight, but I guess
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if it was just another chance to have that horrific ringtone that they picked for his character to be in the film.
What was that? Because I have no
I
idea what that song was. Or
Um,
was that a licensed song or just
I
some?
don't
no, that
Yeah.
was Ralph Garman, who we will see later on, as Detective Garman, uh, doing an Al Pacino impression on Kevin Smith's podcast, which someone later mixed into like a rap edit.
That is
Oh,
possibly the most Kevin Smith answer you could give me, Tom. Thank you for that
Mm-hmm.
gift.
that's amazing. I was like, this has to be from somewhere, but I don't get it. But it is so something about it is just so gross and annoying. It's like the
Right.
perfect ringtone for this
I thought
character.
it was like a shitty, like, you know how like the Bloodhound Gang used to. Well, they're still around, right? Bloodhound Gang, but they
Yeah.
said songs about fucking like animals and Ralph Wiggum. It was like that caliber of a
Mhm.
band that Kevin Smith paid $5 to the rights for. I'm glad it's more fucking ingrained into his podcast bullshit
That's great.
atmosphere.
That's great. I like that it was also on the girlfriend's phone. So
Right.
the insinuation that he would have put this on her phone for his ringtone and vice versa.
Right. Maybe it's their song.
Oh
maybe that
no.
maybe she's a really good person with shit taste in music, which exists. I know people who are really
Maybe,
nice.
yeah.
They just listen to the bad music. It happens. Happens to the best of
Mm-hmm.
us. Chris, who your favorite band? Shut up. Um, so Allie listens to the voicemail. It is immediately horrified because she believes that this man is in danger, and he is. Howard starts monologuing, and this is okay. So this is where the movie begins to lose me a bit because it's a very long monologue, and it's just like at one part it's part Batman origin story, one hand part like bringing up actual historic events that are insane because he's what's his deal? He is a
Duplessis orphan,
yeah,
which was a
which
real thing, and
yes,
it was children who were wrongly certified as mentally ill by Quebec and confined to psychiatric institutions in the 40s and
right,
50s.
right,
They were like they were just orphans, but they were labeled as such to basically help, basically financial reasons, and a lot of bad shit happened to them. So it's a real event that's being tied into this, and also trigger warning for CSA,
yeah,
because our friend Howard Howe got some bad shit that happened to him,
yeah. He
thanks to
was
the clergy.
abused. Yeah, clergy abuse. Y'all could put piece together what kind of way, and that's the thing that kind of irks me. Like, I hate having people who are abused become bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a weak storytelling crush. Uh, because like I guess it's still trying to make it a little bit sympathetic, but doesn't really. Also, his parents died in an alleyway by robbers, which I was like, Kevin, come on.
Well, I don't know once again how much of this is this storyteller, through line that he is just very gifted at what he does, but I don't know.
Oh, see, like, I think that point, like, he's telling the truth. Like, it just,
Yeah.
like, yeah, like, explains, I think it's just a little, like, it's just a sharp twist of what had happened to him prior. That, it's also like, oh, here's my deal, whatever, and it's just like it feels too much of a concrete story to not be that lie.
Mm.
At this point now, Wallace is now missing both of his legs, and his arms are fused to his body.
He's telling all this horrible backstory
Yeah.
while he is sewing
Yes.
Wallace's arms to
Yes.
his side, right?
Which that again, a lot of people were upset with that scene. Which again, that's it's not exactly a like a not a gross scene, but it's still pretty, like, it's a lot of more like show not tell, because you see, like, a lot of
Hmm.
bloody instruments, a lot of weird, like, I guess, like, medical studies or just like medical journals type stuff,
We're
and
not
then
in
you see,
Hellraiser territory yet.
right, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like they linger a minute on like the full display of what Wallace has become, but I think it was like the right amount of like
Right.
just here's what's going
It's
on, but then we're gonna take it
it's
away.
I don't want to say tasteful, but it's properly tense. It's just like
Hmm.
Tasteful
you
Walrus
you no
transformation.
it's gonna be bad because, like, the blood there and the medical journals and whatnot, and like you said, it just the right amount of time is, here's your man Walrus, or your proto man Walrus. He's not in his suit yet,
Right.
and it's fucking. Oh, I mean, also props to, that is horrifying, and I would love to know how they did that properly. Like,
Hmm.
because,
Because
like,
Well,
it's
they
hard
had
to.
uh, a fantastic special effects team.
Right, yeah, how much of that was traditional CGI, traditional, like, makeup stuff versus CGI?
So a
I mean,
fair
I think
amount
that's a
of
lot
it.
of makeup.
Yeah.
A lot of latex for the scenes where Justin Long still looks like Justin Long, and then when he actually gets into the suit itself is like a lot of foam and a lot of latex skin. Apparently, they like sewed in a couple of faces onto it in like parts of the suit that we don't really get to see all that well. Um, it's
The minute you
fucking
said soda, and I
intense.
was like, "Oh." I was like, "Uh-oh."
Terrible.
I was like, "What happened to Jason Mewes now?" Um, so Allie and Teddy are on the case. They try calling the authorities, and this joke is kind of cruel but kind of mean, where they're like, "Yeah, no, he were part of the Nazi party," and they hang up a minute on him, and there's like, it's like
Spell
a
it.
like a comic, like,
Teddy's
it's
gonna be like,
silence,
"Yeah,
but
spell it out, spell it out.
yeah, there's supposed to be a womp 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 in there, and, like, I'm like, okay, like, it's like, overall that joke didn't age well. That scene in particular, that joke works. That was a good
Oh,
use of that joke.
So they end up getting in touch. They meet a sheriff in Canada who gets them in touch with someone. So by now we have a narcissistic asshole with a really bad mustache being sewn into a weird monstrosity human hybrid suit, and his name is Guy Lapont, played by Johnny Depp.
um, God, God, uh, yeah. So, alright. So before we get into the giant ass thing, the whole bullshit thing, Howard's in his Wallace suit. And that is super upsetting. Like, him being sewn into his man Wallace suit. Again, I hate how well that done that is, because he got tusks. Now he's Mr. Tusky, or Mr. Tusks, right? That's the
Tusk,
character's
yeah.
name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um,
And the tusks are made out of his leg bones.
yes, which is what a, like, again. And there are parts of it that are super horrifying. It makes a comedy. I kind of wish Kevin Smith stuck with one route, and stuck with that, because I feel like, yeah, because, like, again, there are pieces of this where it's like, holy shit, that is horrifying. Like, the
Mhm.
man lost his legs and they turned to Walrus Tux. That's a good idea for the story.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then he's like, oh, he has to watch him swim, and he pulls out his platform. Whilst the walrus falls into the water, he goes under, and you see other walrus people that he's tried making, their corpses still rotting at the bottom of the tank, which is horrifying. And again, this is a great, like, actual good horror scene, because it's like, oh no, Justin Long is now sewed into a walrus suit, and he is now swimming around the corpses of other past failed walruses.
It's
Hard cut
intense.
back to the worst character.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tom, please tell us about.
Galapon.
Yeah.
So it's
God.
Johnny Depp in like I want to know if like Robert Kurtzman and his special effects team also did the makeup on Johnny Depp, because it does not look like Johnny Depp.
No.
And if you actually like nowhere in the credits, or is there any inkling of who he is? It wasn't until like people basically had to get confirmation from him that it was played by Depp, because in the credits it says Guy Lapointe, played by Guy Lapointe.
Uh, yeah.
So he is a ex-detective who like has been searching for Howard Howe for a while, because he's aware of all the other people that he's killed, because Howard just threw their bodies into the sewer and their bodies will block the drainage. Um, one of which was like a hockey player named Green Green Gumtree or something like that.
Yeah, at this point now, with the weird Johnny Depp doing accent acting, my brain just kind of was like beep beep beep, file not found. We're just gonna glaze over this.
Well, I do think like because it's a bit of like a monologue versus monologue situation in this movie, and comparing the Johnny Depp monologue, which to me it does get a little bit like what's happening.
Right.
Like I was very captivated by the Howard monologues, but the LaPointe ones, there was a moment of like, nah, you've already been out monologued in this movie. I don't have
Right.
patience for you.
Right. Again, I have some issues with Parks' dialogue, but he's good at his job. He's a great actor, and his stuff, even though like it was a little too wordy, which also describes Kevin Smith's career, it still like was fine. Johnny Depp talking about sewer people and 23 kills while mashing hamburger, like make Canada joke upon Canada joke upon Canada joke happening at once with a weird accent. You kind of lost me here. This is where it's like, oh.
I feel like there was a joke there
Yeah!
that failed just because they didn't know how to actually do it. Like
Right.
to me, the joke that would have been there was like, we gotta help find my boyfriend. His legs are cut off and he's being mutilated by a horrible man. Ah, that's right. I met him once. Hold on 1 second. I have to smash this hamburger first. You just can't get it like this. Like, if they played a little bit more of that sense of urgency versus, like, can you get to the point? I feel like there would have been a good joke there. But instead, he's just, like, really weird. Not only him, but also a couple of other times in this movie, and I don't know if either of you picked up on this, there are some odd pronunciations of just like everyday words, and I'm not even talking like a Canada dialect or there are just like some weird mispronunciations of words that like made me feel like I was drunk is how I wrote it down, and about half of them come from Guy Lapointe.
Yeah.
I just didn't get it, because it's like I feel like it was like if you're from Quebec, you're dying how funny this is, but I'm not from Quebec, and like more people are not from Quebec, and I is that the joke? Like if these are all like if you're from Canada, you'll get like it's Kevin Smith's weird like Canadian obsession, and a bunch of jokes I just didn't get, and I was like, what is going on? Why is he smashing hamburgers? There's that bit where he's just like he kills so many people, but no sexual things. It was not any weird sex things. Like, okay, but what did that even like? What does that have to do with the conversation at hand?
Again,
It's
it feels
deeply uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Oh no,
yeah. It felt, if they had just continued to play that sense of urgency of like, we gotta go get him, time is ticking, it would have been great. It would have been a joke that could have landed. But
right. There's also a flashback within this scene in which the one time Depp's character met Howard, and it's but it's like another brown recluse, but it's in the shitter, and they're talking about hockey, and it's just like there's too much Canada going on.
potty hole.
Yeah.
But those two characters, like going head to head with their fake accents and like the overacting, just like chewing the scenery. That scene is just like, I don't know if this is like awful or good, but it's something.
See, I know it's awful. That's it. There was
This
no
is like
debate. I was
so
like,
much acting.
right. It's just like it's like, oh, these two are method acting. I was like, oh no, I am sober. I need a large what alcohol, please, to quote Ray. And then like the whole humans are shit thing happens. It's like I don't know what's going on. Oh, I'm sorry. The cuts back to Mr. Tusk and Howard hanging out. and Howard's talking about the cruelty of humanity, which is ironic considering he just mutilated a man and put him in a walrus suit. But
Yep.
he's a bad guy. It's kind of hammering the point. Um, there's also this weird. It wasn't really a sex thing, but it felt like a sex thing where Wallace is giving a mackerel and Howard watches him from the door to eat it raw. And I
It
know it wasn't a sex thing, but it had that vibe to it.
it had the same vibe to me as like, Human Centipede, like the Mad Doctor's feed her scene. Like, I don't. It felt off. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, or also you mentioned audition before, and I think when the main the woman character feeds the man she has in a bag, it's a bit of that moment too. Just like I
Oh, I
don't
didn't even
know.
think of that.
Uh,
Yeah.
It's a weird scene. So cut back to the detective Allie and Teddy, and he wants to know what Wallace's driving habits are and try to figure out where this man's at. Um,
He's trying to Sherlock
uh,
Holmes. He's trying to
yeah,
BBC Sherlock Holmes it.
Combs right, and they're like, oh, anywhere he goes, he has to drink with a soft drink. What I did like about that, and Smith, played this up right, was Teddy's character obviously knows what Wallace likes. It's getting his dick sucked while on the road, and he's doing his best not to say that. And I think that's some good restraint because in a lesser Kevin Smith movie, the dude like my boy loves getting his dick sucked, and no, like he's like he doesn't like it's implied that he's struggling not to say that, and he doesn't, and it's good restraint by the character, and it makes more sense in that situation given they're on a manhunt. And it cuts back to the weird 7-Eleven thing, with where's there's an amazing bit. I actually didn't know the scene where he's being mouthy to the two cashiers, Depp's kid and Harley Quinn, and they turn around with Combs like, "Oh, Mr. Mustache," which isn't that funny, but they're being shitty teens about it, and that makes that scene funny.
no,
Mm-hmm.
that's good. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
Also, of
I love
course.
like.
Oh, sorry. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead.
Obligatory Degrassi reference.
Yes, I was gonna mention that too,
Yes.
Kevin Smith's,
Yes.
because we're at aside from like peak Critic Slim and Kevin Smith time, we're also on peak Kevin Smith Loves Canada and Degrassi times. And like we knew Degrassi was coming because that what Mallrats is the first like sign of that Smith loves Degrassi,
Mm-hmm.
and
Does he
then
go
we
back that
had
far?
what's up? Yeah,
Does he talk about Degrassi and Mallrats?
we're uncovering the Degrassi chain now. It
Oh,
goes
I
back
missed
to the
that.
'90s. If not Mallrats, it's Chasing Amy. It's one of those two. Where this is the first Degrassi reference.
Oh, that's funny.
Brody wants his Degrassi jacket back.
Yes, thank you. It was Brody Man. Right, and then obviously at this point in our world we had Jay and Silent Bob go to Canada. A beloved two-parter in the Degrassi revival. I guess Degrassi: The Next Generations, featuring one noted rapper Drake.
Mm-hmm.
Which again, this is like a fucking Rosetta Stone of pop culture bullshit. Anyway,
Jimmy?
you okay,
Oh, wow.
Taylor?
Yeah, memories of Degrassi from high school.
I've never watched Degrassi. I have like no like context of that.
I watched it a lot on like the N, like the cool other Nickelodeon network that was
Oh
around
my
in
god.
I
like
don't
Yeah.
know
the
what that
early
is.
2000s. Yeah.
I didn't have cable for a few years, and also like
Okay.
what I had. Also, like I'm sure our cable packages varied by provider or whatnot.
Mm.
Because I remember
No,
like when
I had
Teen Nick was a
the
thing.
N too. Teen
Yeah.
Nick came after, but before Teen Nick, the N was like Degrassi. I think they did a little bit of like Clarissa Explains It All. A lot of like
Mm.
the more popular of like the sitcom
So
style
it's the end, you
Nickelodeon
say?
stuff.
The N,
The
yeah.
N.
Radio Free Roscoe. That was another Canadian show.
Oh,
Got a
yeah.
lot of
Was this
Canadian
like a
property on that.
programming block? Okay.
I mean,
On the
Nickelodeon, when you
noggin.
kind of think about it, has kind of always had a little like their first show, You Can't Do That on Television, came from Canada,
Right.
so it kind of made
Okay,
sense.
I,
so it's a weird Viacom Sesame Street mashup channel thing?
oh,
What the hell am I reading right
yeah.
now?
It was. I mean, we only watched it late at night. I think during the day it was like It was for like young kids. It was its
Yeah,
own channel. It
that's
wasn't Nickelodeon.
yeah,
It was
no,
this
it was a
channel.
weird mashup between Viacom, which is Nickelodeon's parent company, and the Sesame Company, which is obviously Sesame Street. That's whoa. Today I learned. We're learning a
There
lot
you go.
tonight in this fucking journey. Anyway, um, this bit I love where he Wallace the flashback Wallace just jots down the address on a piece of paper and runs off. Um, Guy the douche asks for the pad and he does like a little fucking scratchy thing, and they're like, "Wow, that's incredible!" And they're like, and I was like, wait, I've seen this before. And then Teddy points out, oh no, you stole this from the Big Lebowski. And he's like, yeah, no, I stole this from the Big Lebowski. And like that, that is like Kevin Smith going, I'm gonna steal that, but also call it out, and then have two characters point out that. I'm just like, yeah, no, that is like that's that good joke. That's a reference to another
That's
movie,
good.
but Kevin Smith and
Meta.
Nielsen, like that, that's a good joke. That's a good bit. Anyway, now now Howard is swimming naked with with Mr. Tusk. That was a little jarring.
I mean, oh, right, yes,
Yeah, yeah,
that was
yeah.
not
I
not
was because
comfy.
like there's enough evidence where it's like, oh, maybe he's wearing swim trunks, so you can't see him until you see that man's ass.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you have the reveal that Howard killed the original Mr. Tusk for food before he was rescued. Also, like, I just realized at this point when I'm watching it the first time, I was like, oh, there's actually no actual walruses in this movie, which I guess like you
were
really
you
don't have
really
like.
waiting for the walruses to show up?
I figured like there'd be at least like one actual walrus in a flashback or something, but
Oh, they have the
no, Chris.
footage. They have the footage of
Yeah,
the
like
walruses
the
Right,
fighting.
footage
but like
on the
that's
sheets behind
I'm
the.
sure they licensed that or just stole it flat out. I don't know. I'm not sure what the documentary like rights are for that, but like
Are you disappointed that Kevin Smith didn't film walruses for this movie?
yes, I was at least one real well, I wanted to know like I wanted like did they have to train it? Like is there like a professional like walrus trainer from like like there's like dogs and like cattle and like horses and cats for movies. Is there ones for walruses just in case? Because someone like Kevin Smith comes along and is like, hello, I have Hollywood money. I need a walrus. And then someone's just like, got you, fam.
I'm sure there
Yeah,
has to
And I
be
maybe
need to
they're not
know.
available.
Yeah, like I mean, it sounds like it's a lot of work,
They're hard
but
to
also
hold,
like,
walruses.
like Free Willy happened and had involved the killer whale.
Yeah.
So, so I don't know. I'm not sure who the widow here in the scenario is, me or Kevin Smith.
I'm sure there
Both.
had to be like
Both.
people in like SeaWorld who would like
Thank you. Aquariums exist.
No.
um so then we see where like actually all the money in the budget went to as Howard gets into his own pelt and they start doing headbutt fighting while Fleetwood Mac's Tusk plays.
I was gonna say that music and like when that music comes on and you're cutting between the walrus fight and then the like the detective and the everybody like rolling
Right.
in trying to save him, like that is that scene. I was like, well, we're off the rails.
Right.
We're going in a whole new direction and I love it.
Yeah.
That scene
So
genuinely slaps. That scene
Yes.
genuinely
Yes.
slaps. I love
what's
it.
good is fucking Detective the douche's fucking like arsenal. He has a
That's his name
fucking
now.
like he has video game guns. Like this dude
Yeah.
came out of
Yeah.
fucking Halo and like it's not like just like oh here's a generic shotgun. Like that dude spent some time on Counter Strike and got some custom wraps.
Yeah.
Well, also like he hands each one person a gun. They're like, "What? No!" And they're like, "You don't want a gun? What kind of Americans are you?" Which is a
I
good
know.
joke. Another good
Like that's
joke.
a weird American joke that in there. It's like fair.
It's
Um,
the Canada shitting on American humor is and that those jokes hold up this movie. Those are good
Yeah,
jokes.
absolutely.
it So this last weekend I went upstate in Connecticut to meet up with a friend for lunch, and down the street from where we had lunch was a airsoft place. And I'm like,
Okay.
you know what? I haven't like I used to have an airsoft gun. I'm like, you know what? If they have something for like not that much money, I may pick up one, get, see how my aim is after all these years. And my god, the fucking video gameness of some of these airsoft guns. They're like, here's like a handgun. It's like a Magnum style. This thing is like fucking as big as like my entire forearm. I'm like, this is a handgun.
uh there is an airsoft place down the block from Amanda's new apartment, my girlfriend Amanda, who I love. And
Yay,
I
Amanda.
she'll be here shortly.
Woo.
Um,
Yay.
so we were walking by because we just want to take a walk at the new town he's moving into, blah blah blah. And there's an airsoft shop. First off, the dude running behind the counter had a ponytail, which is no is a good airsoft. And two, Tom, you're not lying. Like you walk in there, it's like you walk into the Counter Strike where you see like but modded
Mm.
Counter Strike where you have your body armor, your helmets, your various guns, and like I've been paintballing all of once in my life, and like one of that made me kind of want to get into airsoft rifles. I will not because I'm an old man. I will shoot my eye out.
What I'm gonna just I don't know what this is. I've seen these, but what actually? What is airsoft weaponry?
You shoot like paintballs or little and
Pellets.
shit at people, pellets and
Okay.
whatnot. And it's instead of like how a gun works, a gunpowder whatnot. It's more like pressurized, so like
Okay.
you can like hurt each other, but you can't like kill.
Oh,
Oh, you can, but like it's a very low chance of actually killing somebody.
but you don't
Yeah,
shoot them at other people, right? It's like a range.
You shouldn't be.
you
Oh no! So
can.
those are just stores where it's just like equipment if you want to go like play paintball with your friends or whatnot.
Yeah.
There's no range there, but like ideally the thing is it's like you go there, you buy some airsofts, you go play paintball with your friends, or you go to a
Mhm.
range.
Okay.
hmm
Yeah.
So this particular store had a range built into it. It also had like almost like a kids laser tag zone, but for like teenagers and adults, where like they give you a fuck ton of padding. They give you like eye protection stuff, face shield, and you basically go and like you know laser tag. Only you're shooting your friends with basically BB guns.
Oh,
See,
like that.
laser tag, I'm down with. I love laser tag.
Do you
Same.
just want to get a bunch of painful bruises in the dark? I don't want to do that.
Laser tag is different though because
Hey, yo, laser
yeah.
tag's
Yeah,
fine.
laser tag
What
rules.
what I love about laser tag is most arenas are built for people who are like 5'6" and shorter, or for kids. And
Mhm.
I'm 6'4", so when I was a peak, old enough to die for my country, not old enough to drink, we go play laser tag like once a month, and I would just like put my arm over the fucking wall and start blasting people, and like it'd be like, oh yeah, well, Justin had 500 points. Carl Ann had 700 points. Chris had 20,000 because Chris would just camp and murder people.
Good for Chris.
It was a good listen, man. I take pride in my work. My work is lasers. Anyway, so as Allie, the detective, and Teddy go to search for Wallace, Wallace murders Howard with his tusks. His dying words are, "You are my Mr. Tusk." Allie kicks the door. They find Allie realizes that the Wallace what murdered the serial killer is her boyfriend, and is mortified and terrified. Which this is where I begin to question: is this a goof or is this to be horror? Because she just immediately figures out, oh shit, that Wallace has killed that guy. That is my boyfriend, and like, how would you put that two together?
He does say something to the effect of he's trying to turn me into something, and also
Mhm.
Guy had talked about how
Oh,
he was
right,
trying
yeah,
to.
Turned you a monster,
but
yeah.
like she just like she starts screaming, crying, and at that point she just like can't laugh at like, oh shit, there's Wallace. He's a fucking walrus now. Wait, what? No one questions that. They're just like, oh no, this is him now.
Well, they
Also
run
the
like
oh
when
sorry,
they're. Oh, go ahead.
no,
Oh, I
go
say when
for it.
they're running in, she sees his legs in the
Oh
trash
right,
can. So
the
there's some
bucket with the
clues
foot.
there that
Yeah.
some transformation has happened.
I would have gotten mutilation, not transformation.
Oh, that's fair.
Which
I
I
guess it's
found.
not how you think that would end,
Yeah, that
Walrus.
also sounds like Papa Roach lyrics. Mutilation, tribulation. My boyfriend's a walrus.
Uh,
So
the look on Justin Long's face as he is like delivering the final blows, like his teeth and his eyes are like the fucking scariest thing. That is a face right there.
I use a GIF of the War's face coming down as our going live tweet, and
Oh,
our friend
good.
of the channel, just Laura, replied, "What the actual fuck, Chris?"
Yep.
Which fair.
I mean, see, I don't think we talked enough about the design on this costume and the way like it's flesh, right? It's human flesh.
Right.
And the face is still pretty human, which is awful.
It's
hmm
right. It's awful but awesome because like Tom said earlier, the guy who designed this suit, not like in the real world, not in the movie, fucking
Right.
knew. Like Kevin Smith is like, yeah, I must turn this man into a Wallace, and he's like, got you, fam. Because like it's as realistic as it can get for a horror movie, and I appreciate that.
Oh,
It's
it's
wild, yeah.
like
It's also yeah. Oh,
the tail
oh,
bits look like they're made out of finger bones.
yeah, that
Like, ah!
yeah, that
Um,
is it's horrifying, and I love it, but also hate it, you know?
so if anyone is interested, I've actually just looked up on Google right now. Not only do they sell the a like study model of this, but they also have study models of all the ones from the bottom of the pool. So you can see like
Oh,
more decrepit,
oh.
deteriorating pelts, and this shit is actually horrifying. Like this
Yeah,
shit
that's
is like
I'm
you can
not
see some of
sure
the
if I'm
details of like fingers being sewn in
oh.
and
Yeah. Yeah, no, me like you.
I love that. I want to see those.
Yeah,
let
no, I mean,
me
like, good on them for going the distance, I guess. But I can live without seeing that. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I don't need that. Yeah, I got.
I
I
will
can
send
never
those to you post podcast.
I'm good
Thank
enough
you.
with Justin
And I'm sorry.
Long's warless war face. I don't need. I don't need the bone breakdown. I don't need the stats. Okay.
I do like those reaction scenes though where you get like the girlfriend who is legitimately horrified. Like it is actually kind of like once again, very talented actress. She's in pain in that scene. But like Haley Joel Osment's character is just kind of like like he was just like where how I think you would actually react
Yeah,
to
that's
a
that. Yeah,
humanoid
I relate. Yeah,
walrus.
his reaction was what I wanted more of because he's like,
Like
"Oh yeah, there's my co-host. He's a walrus now."
no, it's like I need an explanation. I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm not
I'll,
horrified yet. I'm just
right.
confused.
I
Uh,
gotta. I bet the podcast is like that's where my fucking brains is like, yo,
Oh
the
man.
follow up episodes have to be fucking bonkers.
so my favorite thing about this, now that I'm looking at it, is the Google image search that I did has, and Chris, I'm sending this to you on Facebook if you want to send it to Taylor. It is a bunch of like horrible images from the movie and then one actual walrus in the middle of everything that looks like
Yeah,
the
okay.
most concerned fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good.
I would send it
I
via
also like
Discord, but I can't do it without
I also
bringing
like
down
the
the
Warless and Kevin Smith is like I don't know you.
yeah.
Yeah, Taylor, I'm gonna text you right now. Fucking this is buck wild. Yeah. I also love like the weird just the yeah, scream forever at the scene Justin dot MTV.
Yeah.
I also
Oh
like so
no.
like on the left no one knows what we're talking about because they can't see this image. On the leftmost side, like the war it looks like the war's cuddle puddle where it's just like horror. Yay! We're having fun. We're being snuggle walruses. Yay!
Like
Hold on, let me see if
actual
there's a way I
walruses are kind
can.
of cute.
Yeah, those are cute. They're like, oh, we're having a party. We're enjoying tea and clubbing baby otters. What a fun time! Yay!
Oh, and there might
Wow.
be actually a way for me to show the audience.
Yeah,
Give me
but
one
fucking
second.
there we are. There it is. God, the
Okay,
zoom
so
in on Kevin Smith.
unfortunately
Also,
I
is that
can't. I don't have audio on
Oh,
that particular source, but yeah. So yeah, Kevin Smith just looks so like I don't know what I'm doing with my life anymore.
that walrus wearing a hoodie behind him? Because that's what it
yes,
looks like.
Yes.
yes. He
Um.
Good.
looks like remember the first Suicide Squad movie,
Oh,
Killer
the
Croc with his
yes.
yeah yeah. That's what it reminds me of. Same energy. Now, now I want to saw. Now I want Rick Ross to rap about the wars. That's my the tied back DC Comics. Um, so Detective the guy Ladouche takes out his video game shotgun, aims it at Wallace, and we get a 1 year later. Where we're at the exotic animal sanctuary where Wallace lives as a walrus in the walrus pen. I have I have Wallace is a walrus. Get it? This is dumb, but also kind of amazing.
I mean, the idea that this is a possible ending. It's just
Right.
like,
Right. I was
sure,
like,
yeah.
so here's my very gross question. How is he still alive, but also using the bathroom? Like,
And maybe that was the design aspect.
right. Well, like that's what I want to know is like, because like if that dude could do that, that dude's a fucking like. That dude has fucking like as gross as he is, Howard is also a brain genius. Like he fucking successfully grafted Wallace to man. Like that dude's a god, you know, for lack of a better term.
Well, I don't know. I don't. I don't think we're meant to contemplate too closely how
Yeah,
the walrus suit works.
No, listen, Kevin Smith made a career doing that, so now I'm doing Kevin Smith to him now. I was like, if once Kevin Smith sees this episode, he never will, and he's on our podcast, he's never going to show up. I have to ask him those questions. How does the suit work, Kevin? How does the man poop? It'll be this, Kevin.
I
You,
reached
you,
a
you
point.
know?
Oh, sorry, go for it.
Oh, go ahead.
I was saying I reached a point while thinking about things for this movie where I'm like, if I like, I will catch myself and go, nope, don't question it. Don't like, how did Howard get all of his money? No, you know what? Don't question it. Don't think about it for too long, or I'm gonna have an aneurysm.
Well, I mean, the one, and I feel like I didn't catch this till like I'd seen it multiple times. The idea that he has made a person into a walrus suit multiple times.
Right,
Like, so he's done this
Yeah.
several times. So I guess he's improved over time. He's made
right,
a more functional walrus. I mean, that's the whole point, right? Is that this was his ultimate walrus because this is the walrus that killed
right,
him, and thus he
right,
made a real walrus. So
right. Which
Wallace is no longer Wallace. He's walrus.
watching like I'm gonna have to clip like you just explaining this so because that was just like your fucking not fucking BBC Sherlock but CBS Elementary, so you can see the numbers going through your head and be like, well actually Chris, let me war spray some stuff to you. And I'm
Let's
like,
hold on.
Yes.
This is all I'm hearing.
Morpheus, Dorpheus, Orpheus, go eat some walruses, orifices, porridges. Morpheus, go
That's
get
basically
to
the plot.
Corpses, corpses, Worcestershire sauce. Go into your
All I can
orifices.
hear is Hannibal Buress rapping about Morpheus and walruses.
whack.
But really though, but at the end we see Wallace cry that tear, and
Right.
it's the thing, like they made that they're the when he's talking with his girlfriend early on, she's talking about
No,
he doesn't
that
cry
scene is
anymore.
literally a minute before that where they're talking about how he used to cry
Oh.
watching Winnie the Pooh.
So is the idea that, and this is where it's like I don't want this movie to have this big of a concept. I enjoy it for what it is, but is the idea that somehow he regained his humanity by being turned into a walrus?
Okay, so I approve you going for the art angle. Here's Chris putting on his big Galaxy Brain hat. Sorry, comics hats on. Sorry, I had that
Okay.
on today. Oh, sorry, it's Twin Peaks hat underneath that too. Okay, so this was
Hats off.
this was a planned trilogy, right? This is the Great North trilogy, whatever he had planned.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
According to Smith, every actor who wasn't Michael Parks was supposed to come back for Yoga Hausers and then Moose Jaws. Maybe he's setting Wallace up for a hero's journey. So obviously, I don't think Wallace shows up in Yoga Hausers. We'll find out next year when we actually watch it, and I yell Tom how bad this movie is.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in Moose Jaws, they can't stop Moose Jaws because he's in because reasons. We have to figure out what the maybe because Moose Jaws is in the water and they can't send any man into the water, so you can't send don't send a walrus to do a man's job. Oh, don't send a man to do a walrus job. So
Like
Wallace
a King
has
Kong
to
versus Godzilla, but Canada.
right. So they had to send Wallace the man walrus into this lake where Jaws Moose lives, and by killing Jaws Moose, he regains his humanity. Ow, I think I'm blind.
I
Chris
watched that
just-
movie. Absolutely. Freddy versus
Chris-
Jason? Nah. I want Wallace Walrus versus Moose Jaw.
But I want the minute they drop him into the water, it's the down with the sickness thing.
No,
And
it's gotta be.
it's
It's gotta be.
It's his crying, and they drop him into the water, and then the bam, bam. That's what I want. Kevin Smith, make that fucking movie.
Ooh.
He might
Yeah.
be working on it, honestly.
Nice. No, we knew what he's working on. That's Clerks 3. Despite our fondest efforts.
This is the plot of Clerks 3, actually.
Oh, if Dante is killed by Jaws Moose, and it's yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
gonna
the
lead
bait and
into
switch.
Pacific Rim 3.
Oh, great! I'm down.
Fucking no more
Jaw
Pacific Rims.
kaiju.
We're all about fucking no more kaiju's are played out. We're all about monster fucking or mooses versus man walruses.
It's got to be like a mashup of Down with the Sickness and Tusk,
God, fucking
just to kick up the price of production even more.
Yeah, yeah. What blows my mind, minus everything else, is that like Justin Long still has perfect teeth. As you see that final scene, as him as a walrus, like that man has been eating raw fish for the like. Did he brush his teeth? Like that. Like these are the questions so where my mind goes to.
You're
Even though I
thinking
just
too hard about this man
yeah,
walrus.
they
I
were
think.
very nice teeth, and I was like, how does this man who eats raw fish have this nice teeth? You know.
I
Um,
mean,
the biggest problem that I have with the ending is like I like the idea of like maybe he's still got a bit of humanity left in him, but the weird thing is the 1 year time gap. Like that's what's gonna bring you back is just getting a like presumably they've been going to see him like more than just like that day.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It seems weird that like that's gonna be the thing that makes you cry. It's just a random fish and I love you. Like
been doing a lot of reflection and personal growth inside that walrus suit for a year. All right, you can't stop being an asshole in just a week. And you get turned into a walrus. And like I reflect on my sins. Like it takes some time.
I am now Walrus Jesus.
He's come around. You just spend a year in a walrus suit and you can cry again. That's what it is. That's the cure for toxic masculinity.
Yeah, I am no longer
You
being
in the
self-
walrus suit.
God, fucking.
Um,
You can just see fucking what's his face? The dude with the fucking Ben Shapiro, just like they wouldn't have to even cut off his legs. He's a very short man for the soda to a walrus suit.
oh my god, this is so much better. I think I get what all those cucks were talking about.
No.
All right, that is my only complaint with this movie, by the way, is that at no point during the movie did a walrus or a seal get on his side and start doing the tummy slap, because that is the funniest thing in the entire fucking planet to me.
Well, apparently they only do that when they're distressed, but then that would have been really funny if that did happen. When he
Right,
was
like if he
distressed.
comes in wearing like
Kid's concept is
if
pretty
Howard
fucking
comes in wearing
distressing.
like the walrus suit, he's just like, oh no, and that's how they find him. I'm in
Missed
danger.
opportunity.
SOS.
Only Johnny Depp can save me now. Oh no, it's Johnny Depp, and he has a gun.
Don't like that.
This may be our most clippable episode to date.
No.
Sequel where he's still in the walrus suit, but he's back doing podcasting.
It's like cereal. It's like
He learned
cereal.
nothing.
It's like cereal. Just like, yeah, buddy, you were in that suit for a while. How you doing? Whoa, you can't say that about Jewish people, dude. That's super anti-Semitic. Oh, cut the commercial. Cut the commercial. Bob is socks.
This is just how they break 1 million downloads. It was all a ploy.
Right.
That's how you get there.
Right.
One of our co-hosts is a walrus man. That's a selling point.
Hard cut to Joe Rogan. It's like, I don't believe he's a walrus. I don't believe in vaccines, being
for the
tall,
clicks.
or
Or walrus man.
a walrus man. He doesn't exist. That's Little Mize. I don't believe that.
Hot news today, coming as a co-podcaster in the popular show Kiss from a Seal. He's a walrus. Kiss from a seal. Wouldn't it be Kiss from a Rose? Kiss from a Seal!
My boyfriend, my walrus, and me.
Oh no. Oh no.
Pink Floyd's The Walrus.
God. I also fucking laughed my ass off with the single tear, and you see written directed by Kevin Smith, because who else? Who else would dare ask the question, are men walruses at heart?
But I like that, like, his take on this really is just, I wanted to make something that I wanted to see.
Oh,
And, like,
yeah.
Who cares what anybody else thinks of it? Like, that is so powerful. However you feel about the movie, what a fucking cool thing to I just wanted to see it, so I did it. What?
I know writers who use subtext. They're cowards. I chose the walrus.
You think it means anything? Ah, whatever.
It means walruses are hilarious.
Actually, the funny thing about that is that entire, like, I'm about to do a thing where I'm gonna look too deep into something and then make fun of myself for looking too deep into something. So we all know about the the walrus and the carpenter. It's obviously like a Lewis Carroll story that was even referenced in Dogma. And how a lot of people have the belief that the carpenter represents Jesus and the walrus represents Buddha, and how it's religion leading people astray so they can eat them and act predatory towards these oysters. Also, by the way, real quick, I don't know if you can hear this, but there's like thunder and shit going around out here. So if we go down for a minute, you'll know why.
Okay.
So in any
There's a
case,
nor'easter moving in somewhere, right?
yeah,
It rained briefly, like an hour here, and then it stopped. So I guess
it's a little nasty up here right now.
Okay, I guess it's hitting Tom now.
Yeah. So, but anyway, like that's one of the biggest, like, what a lot of people read into that, including like they use that interpretation of it in Dogma. Well, it turns out that like the carpenter was literally only put in because like Lewis Carroll gave their illustrator like 4 different options, and they were all ones that fit like the iambic pentameter or whatever they wrote it in, and it was like the butterfly, the carpenter, or like the bee, and they just picked the carpenter because they thought it would be the easiest to draw. So like when they asked Lewis Carroll's like estate about it, they were like, some of Alice's stories are meant to just be stories for kids, don't look into them too deeply.
That. Very that, actually.
Right, but I want like God, like I just want to check out hunt down the Blu-ray, which does it exist? Hold on, let me go to the bad online retailer. TUSK Blu-ray. Kevin Smith, don't let me down. Multi-4. Ooh.
There is, by the way, on YouTube, a 90-minute long making of TUSK feature. That is free. It's on Kevin Smith's YouTube. I was able to watch about 20 minutes before coming here, and I really wish I got a chance to watch all of it.
Yeah, I need this. I need to see the madness behind Smith's eyes, because like I have so many questions about this. I do love how like the first rating on Amazon is 1 star, then 5 stars, then 4 stars, then 5 stars. 5, 5, 1, 4.
Here, I'm dropping it in chat.
Yeah, someone weird. It's very weird, and I like it because it's not political. Which okay, good to you, buddy. It's definitely not political, unless like I'll give him that much.
It's
also think it's very divisive.
Oh yeah, because I was like, before this, I was like, this is a very weird movie. People were like, yo, movie slaps. I was like, wait, what?
Well, I know, like, I mean, I know my taste, and I actually feel like comedy and horror aren't opposites. I feel like they align in a lot of the same ways. There's that sort of just something audacious is happening, and whether it's gory or it's hilarious, I feel like it triggers the same part of my psyche.
Okay.
So, I don't know. Like, there was a lot of, like, there was the dialogue that was so sort of poetic and weird and then went into the creepy territory. I think it's funny and scary. And a lot of things are both to me. I don't think that's everybody's palette, but I think that's my horror palette. So something that can kind of do both at the same time. Like, I don't know if I should laugh or be afraid. I'm going to do both.
Well, I felt like I was never like I was grossed out more than I was afraid.
Yeah.
So like that's why it's failure. Like there was at no point where I was like, "Oh, geez, Rick, is this guy gonna be okay?" Because I didn't care for him. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But did I laugh? Yes. Which that's why like I need either it needed to be scarier or he needed to be a little more sympathetic because he wasn't. He was he was a cheating maniacal douchebag who sold out and so he could make more money, and then he got turned into a walrus.
I find it funny though that like Wallace is more human as a walrus than he was at the start of the story.
Yes.
and
Also,
that to me
his
feels
name
like
is
the point.
Wallace, and that is just like Kevin Smith. Once again, he knows writers. They use subtext. They're cowards.
I definitely agree with that. That horror and comedy are like almost like in some cases intrinsically linked because like humor is a way to cope, and
Yeah.
for some people, especially like the watching of horror movies is a way to also cope with our fears, fear of the unknown, and being able to make making jokes about you know um horrific things sometimes helps us cope with things. Like it can be done well. I don't know. To me, it's like they're also both genres that you almost have to have that genuinity to make it and make it feel like worth it. And to me, like Tusk achieves that just simply because of the fact that Kevin Smith is so fucking proud of it. And it seems like everyone who was on set had a good time making this movie.
Yeah, I feel that. I think there's an earnestness to it where it's just
Perfect.
it's not. I don't know if it's trying to be anything other than what it is, and I love when something is just that. Like take me on it's just like a roller coaster ride. There's no concept to it. You're strapped in for your
Mm-hmm.
while you're there, and it's fun and weird.
Mm-hmm. And
I'm
also,
this big man
camp.
that
You can feel
Yeah.
different.
no, so no, I'm this big man that I pitched a really good arc for Moose Jaws, and I'm fairly certain if that movie's ever made, I'm not getting that version.
I don't know. Who knows?
Kevin Smith, that's who. Son of a bitch, Smith.
It's actually weird now that I'm thinking about it. Love like just how like, especially when like you kind of explore the history of horror, and especially around like the 70s to 80s to 90s, and like when I think of like very not funny slashers, Halloween and Friday the 13th were both very like played straight and eventually got significantly boring because it was more of the same and more of the same. And then when you really kind of went to Freddy Krueger and Chucky, who are both very like quip heavy comedy, there's a like Krueger is like almost like a bad stand-up comedian with his with his lines, and people really started to go for that. And then from there, it evolved to like Wes Craven again going, with Scream and the now it's the teens making the bad jokes and whatnot. There was this like it's really like interesting kind of like how quipness and whatnot kind of wormed its way into mainstream horror to the point where like Kevin Smith doing a horror film feels like such a weirdly natural progression.
Yeah.
It's also funny you mentioned Scream, in which Jay and Silent Bob show up in Scream 3. Was that right?
I am so glad you picked up on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I forgot that Scream is canonical to the the View Askew universe.
Yeah. So the before
Taylor, you okay?
when we were
Are they Scream 3?
yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It
That's
was
the one on the movie lot, right?
Yes.
it's the cross cameo of why Wes Craven is in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Oh, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm. So Smith has had a hand in horror for a while. Again, Jay and Silent Bob super groovy cartoon movie, probably the best example of a horror film that I've seen in ages.
I mean, there's a lot like the movies that I think hit the like. Because I'm thinking a lot of like Evil Dead. Like Sam Raimi is a good comedic
Yes.
director,
Yes.
Mhm.
and
Yes.
he's great with horror. I think like however you feel about Joss Whedon, like I think Cabin in the Woods and like Dale and Tucker vs. Evil are great horror comedies or
Is
comedy horror
was Whedon
movies.
involved in Dale Tucker?
I think he was.
Because I mean, like, I mean, I agree 100% about Cabin in the Woods. That movie is, despite Josh Whedon being a piece of shit, really fun.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah.
not a fan of him as a person these days.
No, but that
Big
movie,
bummer.
like, is
Big
enjoyable.
bummer.
Like, the Thor, to this day, I can't think of the Thor motorcycle scene. I know he has a real name, but his name is Thor.
No, it's
And,
Thor.
like, yeah, that whole scene, maybe, then the ending, just the way it ends, like, that's pretty good.
Hell, first thing I thought of actually when I saw Tusk for the first time was Cabin in the Woods and the Merman.
So there's no so aside from what's his face, Alan Tudyk. I don't believe there's any Josh Whedon connection.
Oh, okay. I see. There's a okay.
Maybe
Yeah,
he's
I think
like,
you're right.
this is
I
my
was thinking
favorite.
of Alan Tudyk is the
Yes,
connection point. No, he's
yes.
just yeah.
My second favorite Joker, Alan Tudyk. That's not Goof. He plays the Joker on the Harley Quinn animated series.
Oh,
Really?
yeah, no, he's
And
great. Yeah.
he's great. He's Clayface, Joker, and a bunch of other side roles, and he rules. That's not like a jokey joke. That is
No.
a sincere fact.
I adore him in Doom Patrol.
Yes, I forgot he's a Doom Patrol. He's also
He
Green Arrow in Injustice.
he plays
That's
like
wild.
he plays like the best villain in Doom Patrol.
I need to watch more Doom Patrol. I have a not a weird love hate. It's a weird like blind spot in my comic stuff because I love Grant Morrison. I love Gerard Way. Both of them have written Doom Patrol. I've read all the Way stuff. The Way stuff starts off strong, does not end particularly well because he decides he needs to get back with his band or whatever, and has a co-writer and doesn't slap as well. Whereas the Morrison stuff is like the most like literary run for that book, and I really need to like I have like the first two big not big trade paperbacks. I want to read that.
It also doesn't help that
As
the
yeah.
Titans literally tied into Doom Patrol's like TV show, and Titans sucked.
What do you mean, God? I just watched latest. I'm sorry. So I'm watching Titans for the first time because it's rough. It's rough. Jason Todd just showed up, and Jason Todd beats the shit out of the cops, and then Tim Drake's like, "We don't do that." I was like, "Well, maybe you should, Tim." I mean,
should.
Nick. Fucking Jason Todd's right about that. But yeah, going back, like Evil Dead is that perfect blend of horror comedy. Like you can make an argument that Army of Darkness is a little too quippy, and I will slap you in the jaw because I love the Army of Darkness. That movie
I think Evil
rules.
Dead 2 is the sweet spot.
Yes,
Evil Dead is a
yes,
better horror movie. Army of
yes,
Darkness is a funnier movie.
yes,
Evil Dead 2 is the perfect blend of horror
yes,
and funny.
yes. Although like,
Even
I still
even
like
the
Army of
remake
Darkness
slap.
the best.
Oh, I love
I need to I need to rewatch the remake because it's
I
not
was ready to
bad.
hate it. I liked it.
It was the bit where she takes the knife in her tongue, like that was like nope, cover face thing. But then like the ending ruled, and the post credit scene ruled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love the special effects team on it. Like they did some quality stuff.
Yeah. Let's talk about. Yeah, we have some time to kill. Talk about horror. I'm excited. I'm excited to see Red State because I think a lot of people say that's the best of the three the three horror movies Smith has done.
Mm-hmm. I'll agree with that.
Although you guys made me a believer, Tusk. Like I don't agree on all your points, but like I like your optimism. You're raising a lot of good points. I was like, okay, maybe Tusk isn't as bad as I thought it was. Yoga Hauser's
tried
though. Mm.
I enjoyed Tusk more personally, but I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that it kind of whatever he's doing with this trilogy, I do think it requires turning off your brain and going along for the ride, and
Yeah.
that's fine. I like
Sometimes
movies
a
that do that.
cigar
Oh
is
yeah,
just a
no,
cigar.
I'm not gonna be like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be like it's not art, but
Sometimes a
it's
walrus is
entertainment.
just a walrus.
Yeah, no, that's something I like. It's just like nah, there's not a political statement. It's like, oh no, see, it's actually a metaphor for blood. It's like nah, it's like it'd be
No.
funny if this man became a walrus. Like
Yeah.
him playing it
great.
so straight though makes it laugh because like there are some bits that again like also Alan Tudyk, but friggin Michael, whatever his name is fucking incredible
Michael
actor.
Parks?
Just Michael Parks, thank you. I said Michael Hunt, like that's not right. That's a goof. Yeah, Michael Parks is a remarkable actor. Justin Long, I have no problem with Justin Long. I just think he's too much of a douchebag in this movie to be likable. So like when he becomes a walrus, I don't feel bad. I'm glad Haley Joel Osmond is getting work. And yeah.
I feel like Wallace's character could have worked a little bit better had they. See, the problem is that they start him at 100% asshole and just give hints that he wasn't always that way. I feel like if this movie could have compressed 20 minutes of the Guy Lapont stuff and put that into seeing like I think it could have really benefited from seeing Wallace like start off as like a comedian, a genuine comedian who just isn't getting noticed, isn't getting views, and then like see that transformation of okay, now that I'm making fun of people in making fun of unfortunate people in viral videos, and being basically a leech and making money and getting successful and getting women. Now I'm becoming the asshole. I feel like it could have benefited from like give me a reason to want to like this guy before you like, and let us see the change that's gonna mirror his change into the walrus.
Or like make him a deeper asshole, so when he gets turned to the walrus, you're like, well, good, fuck this dude.
Yeah.
What to say? I don't want to watch a guy that I'm rooting for get turned into a man walrus. I was kind of on board with like, no, there's a bit of wish fulfillment here. Like,
Taylor's the
I know
villain.
this guy. I've worked with this guy. I'm happy to see him get turned into a walrus. Actually,
And I see it like even that as a metaphor, not like just longer gets deserved to turn.
I don't know Justin Long. Justin Long
Yeah,
seems like a
'cause-
pleasant fellow.
No, yeah,
I'm a fan. I like him.
Yeah, we have a mutual
he's-
friend who accidentally knows a bunch of actors and be like, "Fuck that dude, fuck that dude." So
No,
I
I
thought it was
don't.
like one of those stories, but like,
No,
yeah,
no,
no.
I love him in this movie. I think he's
Yeah.
great.
All right, that's yeah. I just had to clarify that we wish no harm specifically
No,
to Justin Long,
if
who like
Justin Long
harmless
is watching
otherwise,
this,
right?
I'm a big
Yeah,
fan.
yeah. It was interesting. I'll say that much. Like, I'll give Kevin Smith that. It wasn't like any other horror film I've seen in a while. I'm also spoiled because I've been watching mostly good horror stuff as of late, like that's played straight or is the Army of Darkness, which rules, kind of like the
We've
king of
been
horror comedy.
It's been a really good year for horror.
Yeah, because I heard the new Candyman rocks. A lot of people like that.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love the Fear Street trilogy on Netflix. Fucking ruled.
Yeah, that
And
was
like,
good. That was good.
yeah,
I can't
it's
talk
weird
that
getting
series up enough. It's so good.
it's weird getting good queer friendly horror because like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of queer inclusive horror stuff is it's either like too indie that no one watches it or it's just like not great. And this was
Or it's American Horror Story.
yeah. Amanda's a big fan of that. I've watched like for first half of the first season, and I fucking like lost my shit where that dude was masturbating in the shower and crying. But like Gaga shows up, and like there's more stuff I kind of want to give him the shot because I heard
Oh
it's
no,
like
like
buck
don't get me
wild.
wrong. I've watched every episode, but I don't
Okay.
think it's great queer representation. It's we're there, but we're not great.
Cool. Cool. The real representation is having bad queer stuff. Wait, no.
There we go. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's democratic.
I'm personally a huge fan of found footage horror, and VHS
Yeah.
94 is so
Oh.
fucking good.
All right,
That-
so
The
Oh,
cyborg part, like,
Yes. Mm.
oh, it was like Tetsuo the Iron Man is one of my favorite films, and like that, I was like, I want this.
okay,
more.
I need to watch that because that's how you sell. You said the word cyborg. That's a red. That's a good, not a red flag, but that's a good
Yeah,
way to
that's
like sign up. I watch a lot of horror. I wouldn't say it's good horror, but horror I was entertained by. I watched Willy's Wonderland. Y'all familiar with that, right?
Yeah, the
Nicolas
Five Nights
Cage.
at Freddy's one with Nicolas Cage.
Right.
Yeah.
It's better because fuck Five Nights guy. Fuck
Mhm.
him, and I hope he burns and goes to hell. Nicolas Cage, however, unproblematic, is great. And like are the teens like kind of insufferable? Yes. Do they get murdered by animatronics? Yes. Does Nicolas Cage drink a lot of soda and beat the fuck out of animatronics? Yes. That movie had a very simple premise and delivered on every level.
So I'm gonna mispronounce his name fucking horribly, so I apologize. Timo Gianto, Indonesian
who that is.
filmmaker who did my favorite segment in VHS up till the new one. He worked with the people who did the movie The Raid, which is another phenomenal like
The
action
Raid
movie.
rules.
Yes. They did a bit in the second VHS movie called Safe Haven, which was absolutely phenomenal. It's worth watching the entire series for that bit alone. And in '94, he did a new one, which is the one we're talking about with cybernetic, a doctor who puts cybernetic parts in people. And like, if they make another Doom movie and they don't hire this guy, they are out of their fucking mind, because it's basically the best Doom movie you're ever gonna see in your life. And
Yeah,
when I
that
heard, that he was being involved in '94, I immediately like downloaded it and watched day one.
no, that I was so excited for that to come out. I was a big fan of the series already, but like that, I don't. I think it mainly got positive reviews, and I think that's my favorite installment yet in the series,
Mm-hmm.
the whole thing.
It's also
I need to
the
watch
probably least like I like the first one, but it like there's some essay stuff that I'm like this really could have done without it. But it also had the oh god, what's the um Halloween 1990
it. H2O.
no, it's the last segment I think in the first movie. I have to look it up cuz 10/31/98 done by Radio Silence, which is like basically a group of kids going to a house that's haunted where the effects look so good and so practically done. Radio Silence has been one of my favorite groups that have done. They did a great found footage film called Devil's Due. They did a great movie called Ready or Not back in 2019, I think, which is like
Oh, like the Bride movie?
yeah, it's probably one of the most
Yeah.
original horror movies I've seen in some time. And the coolest thing, they're the guys who are doing the new Scream, which is instantly making me hyper excited for it.
That I I'm psyched for that. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Scream 4 was maybe my least favorite, but I still like. I have faith in the franchise. Like it's a good build. I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cool because like I've only seen the first. Yeah, I've seen the first screen and parts of Screen 3, but like it's that cool. It's that it feels like it's fresh because it's it's aware of the tropes and it acknowledges the tropes, but
Mhm.
also it's Wes Craven who was like really Wes Craven really good at his job. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of that, but yeah, it's fucking yeah. I like those movies. I like slashers that are like I'm not the biggest slasher guy. Like I like a big monster. I like a spooky demon or some shit. But Scream again, it's that blender of like it's not like a horror comedy. It's a horror that happens to be funny. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Camp.
And that's I don't
Someone
know. Yeah.
yeah,
Go
Andy
ahead.
in chat mentions that Midsommar and Hereditary are two of my recent horror films, and I fucking love those movies. That's what Ari Aster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
he's a
fucking
genius.
yeah, it's cool because like yeah, both of them like when they need to be gory, they're gory as hell, but they're not like horror in the traditional sense as they make you super uncomfortable,
I think
and I like that.
Midsommar should get credit alone for making a horror film that is 99% in bright daylight.
Yes, yes,
Yes, absolutely.
yes. It's
Big ups
funny
to that.
because we're also playing Resident Evil 5, and the whole premise of that game is horror in broad daylight. The problem with that is it's also racist as hell. Whereas Midsummer is, not. But also, I remember seeing that on a date,
Oh.
which
Oh no.
that was the reason why we broke up.
Same.
But um, but like it
First
was
date movie.
like one, not a great date movie, and two, like the sound design was like aggressive in a way I was not expecting. Like it made you uncomfortable, like both like mentally and physically, because like it was just like the way the soundtrack played out. I was like, it was grating and like not. It was not a good feeling. You know how like certain words are fun to say or have a good mouthfeel.
Mm-hmm.
That was a bad ear feel, but
Mhm.
intentional, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Midsommar was a fun date watch that I watched with my ex because she was Swedish. So
Oh,
the entire time, like she's laughing at all of these like Norwegian cultural things that she's like, yeah, I know some people who are like this, and like, seeing her reaction to all of it was great.
all right. So Taylor, you said you had to wrap things up early tonight.
A
Uh,
little bit, if that's all
yeah,
right.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
This
fine.
has been
Do you want to plug
great.
anything before you go?
Well, I mean, if you want to find me on one of my podcasts, I swear they're less cursed than the ones we've discussed from the movie Tusk. I have Still Buffering, which is a cross generational media podcast I do with my two sisters, and I also have Neat the Boozecast, which is a alcohol history podcast.
That one I
I
want to
also
check out. I
draw stuff.
love. Oh, sorry.
I love booze.
Oh no, yeah. Well, we Hemingway comes up a lot too, and they're real stories. So
Excellent.
at least
When
one out
do you
of every
want?
10 episodes.
We'll recreate flashbacks with Thomas Hemingway.
There you go. But
Um,
thank you all so much for having me on.
Thank you. This was a
yeah,
real
this was
hoot.
great.
I was been dying to work with you on something outside of drinking in your apartment and or playing games with friends. Uh,
I
yeah.
appreciate you watching Tusk for me.
I mean, we're gonna have to have you back for Red State and fucking Yoga Housers.
Absolutely. No,
Mhm.
Yeah,
please. I would be
yeah,
happy to.
yeah.
Uh,
Because like, I feel like we can't half-ass this.
No, I'm
their
on board.
their art, by the way, is like really fucking good.
Yes,
I
yes.
I finally got a chance to look at some of it today. I'm looking at the witches piece that you did from a couple of days ago. That is cool as hell. I love like the color, like the palette that you got there. Um
You.
and like the way all the hair kind of turns into like tentacles. That is really fucking cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and drop your Etsy shop
Well, thank
in
you.
your in the links, and
I'm
also you.
gonna. I was gonna say if you do check out my Etsy, I'm going to do a Nightmare Before Christmas sale starting November 1st through November. So I'm gonna be like 15% off. So if you see anything you
And
like but you can't
yeah,
afford it now, just wait a couple days. Things
just
will
take
be
your
cheaper.
time. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna. Well, Tom, you want to talk a little bit more about
Yeah,
the horror stuff? This is fun.
we'll just
Yeah,
keep talking about horror. Honestly,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I could do a horror podcast for like
Ooh,
every
that would be.
week.
We'll keep that in the next
Hit me
year's
up
extra
if
life
you want
goals.
that.
Yeah.
Hell
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll work our way down the iceberg, but
Yes.
we're not
Yes.
gonna get into
There we
the
go.
bottom
There we
layer.
go. Yeah.
'Cause
The
that's
first.
not fun.
You heard it first. Max Fun and New York Stock Exchange merging to make horror content.
Down.
Yeah, Taylor, thank you so much.
Thank you
You
both
are
so
a saint
much.
and a scholar.
No,
I
this
can't wait
was
to
a
see. I'll see
pleasure.
you soonish, right? Pretty
Oh,
soon.
Yeah.
I'm getting that
Oh yes,
Mothman
I'll see
pack.
you next weekend. Storm King.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's
A,
I
a
was
week
about
for
to, I can
a week.
curse on this podcast. Oh
Yeah,
shit, that's
oh
right.
yeah, no, yeah. I'll see you at Storm King. Yes, thank you. Yes, get out of here. Go have fun.
All
Tell
right.
Ty I
Y'all
say
are
hi.
amazing. I
Yes.
will. Thank you
All
so
right.
much. Y'all have a great
Bye.
night.
All right,
You too.
Bye.
Thank you. Take care.
bye.
Bye. That rules.
Oh,
Yeah, that was.
I'm getting that Mothman pack. Also,
Yeah.
everyone's gonna have to wait a minute
Yeah.
while
Actually. Yeah.
while I change
Yeah.
up.
Fun fact: one of the first times I went drinking with Taylor, who's an amazing bartender, would have mentioned that they gave me this cute little Mothman keychain that I keep on my monitor. Taylor rules. They're also a kick-ass cosplayer. That's how we. Oh god, oh god, it's half Chris.
Yeah, I'm adjusting.
There you go, full Chris. Yeah. That was fucking wild. They were in Salem today doing spooky.
Yeah, no, we basically we had a very shorter version of this podcast and significantly drunker at Chris's birthday a couple of months
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah, yeah. The minute Tom's like, we should do a Kevin Smith podcast. Taylor was one of the first people I wanted on because they're a big horror buff, and I feel like they don't get a chance to talk about that on their very good podcast. So I was like, let's
Mhm.
get on there. Yes, very exciting. Um, yeah. So yeah, I guess we'll do some downtime. Tom, so we're gonna end the year this December with Jane Silent Bob Strike Back, right? That was the
Yeah, I
plan.
guess we can talk a little bit
Okay.
about the game plan for this.
So I want to make a proposal for next month. I know we were
What's
kind of
that?
up in the air about what we want to do. However, so we were talking about Clerks 3
Mhm.
being the newest kind of thing. November 23rd, though, a new Kevin Smith joint drops.
Is it the
It is
He-Man?
part 2 of his He-Man series, which rules. I think we should do the next Short and Jorts about the He-Man show because here's my take. It rules. It's very good. Also, hey, Jason Long's in that.
Okay, appropriate.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, no, new He-Man again. So not to be like nostalgia, dude. I'm old enough to remember when He-Man was the thing. He-Man was the first thing I was a fan of as a kid. Like when I could had a functional brain. Like I had like there's a picture. There's a Polaroid of me in like a shitty He-Man costume, like a chest plate, like arm muscles, a little sword or whatnot, a bad bowl cut. And so like it's not something I'm super like protective of because I know people like, oh, it's like your first thing, and like every time they do a bad version of that. But I liked He-Man well enough as a kid, and I watched when they brought it back. I think was it late '90s Cartoon Network.
mhm.
I liked that from when I watched it. I kind of fell off after a while, but I liked it. The Revelations I watched because like we're doing this podcast, and I was like, oh, maybe I like if it's gonna be a shit show, I have to be there day one. But then like the reviews came in and people were like, a lot of neckbeards are gonna be mad. And I was like, oh, tell me more. And
Um,
then watching it hit and seeing what the big twist is for that first season and watching the internet be the internet and reacting to it, I was like, shit, Kevin Smith has to be something really good. It's fucking
we were actually contemplating doing an emergency shorts and jorts when that came out, but
yeah,
unfortunately I had like 2 weeks of work travel, so
yeah.
we couldn't. I wanted to do it for the because at the premiere of He-Man, Kevin Smith wore his standard outfit of the biggest purple blazer, like a kingpin size blazer, his finest jorts, and his cheddar cheese slip-on Vans. And I'm like, Chris, what is this man doing?
Yeah, well, it's gonna be a while when we talk about post. This is gonna sound shitty, but bear with me here. Post heart attack, Kevin Smith, because he goes from wearing like hockey jerseys all the time to like t-shirts and blazers and jorts, and it's a look, and I don't want to make fun of his like his yeah.
Talking about this as a bigger guy. As a certified fat man, I can talk about this a little bit. So when he was big, when he was still like, traditional Silent Bob, fat, his style actually worked significantly well for him. He had a lot of clothes that kind of fit his personality, fit the years that he, the 90s, the early aughts. Like, his style was pretty fucking good. Trench coats are, designed for bigger, portly men. Shorts are, if you looked at the fucking like jean shorts that I have, they are fucking gigantic. To the point where if I lost 100 pounds and put them on, they would look silly and stupid on me. And I feel like he's one of those people who lost a ton of weight and didn't want to get a new wardrobe because he was attached to a lot of his stuff. So they're not bad, but I feel like if like a stylist worked with him, he would find stuff that would fit his look now a lot significantly better.
He needs to do with noted WrestleMan / Peacemaker John Cena does, and just get super into suits.
Yeah.
Which is that's a Total Divas reference for the three of you who watch Total Divas, the hit USA spinoff of WWE Raw. Anyway, but yeah,
I feel like if he did more t-shirts, if he did more suit blazers that actually fit him, and
less shorts,
I feel like he could still keep a lot of his style, but just tone it in a little bit more. Like, it's the same thing that and listen, this is for like, no matter what body type you are, never feel like your body type is going to limit your style, because there are always places that actually sell clothes that are going to fucking fit you. And this is something that I had to learn kind of like in the exact opposite, because if you look at pictures of me when I was like 21 and in my early 20s and going up, I hung on to a lot of t-shirts even when they weren't fitting me all that well. So it's like when I basically went from an XL to a double XL, I would hold on to my XL shirts because I liked them, and it's like, nope, I should have made a clean break, bought jeans that actually fit, as opposed to like trying to squeeze into one size smaller and ones that were like way too long. Get shirts that fit, get clothes that fit, and you will look fucking good. You will, like, I'm looking at myself now, and it's weird because at 34 I feel like I'm more stylish now than I was at 22, and as a result, like, I feel sometimes like, aside from the gray hairs, like, I feel like I look younger at 34 than I do at 22. So it really is like how you perceive yourself and find a fit that fits you, and he needs to learn that.
Fashion talk, finally. We're tackling everything. All things tonight. We're talking horror, we're talking fashion, we're talking He-Man. Finally, all the topics we can't cover. We're talking video games. Also, Taylor sent me a very nice text message after I danked him for showing them tonight.
Aw.
I'm very excited to have them back in the future. This was a lot of fun. I'm very excited to do more bullshit down the road, because I not that I don't enjoy playing video games on this platform, but it's cool to branch out and do different shit from time to time, like the D&D and the podcast stuff.
Oh, I mean, a lot of stuff that like the one rough thing about operating a channel like this, where we have 5 unbelievably talented, really great people, is there are 7 days a week, and
right.
You can only do so much. And I feel like
right.
like there are a lot of things where I'd like to kind of play a game that's a little more relaxed and present the opportunity to talk with people more often, and basically do like mini podcasts. Because in case you haven't figured it out, we love the sound of our own voices so fucking
I mean,
much.
like, you're not on Twitch if you don't like if you're not a little fucking attention obsessed, which ain't a bad thing, but it'd be like that on this bitch for an earth.
But honestly, I love talking to people about things. I love
Yeah.
working with people to help solve their problems. I just love shooting the shit. And when you're playing a focused game and trying to like both be entertaining on the game that you're playing as well as it's tough to do that and hit everything that you want to do. And I feel like some of the better things come out when you've exhausted everything that you have to say and you're just kind of speaking from the heart.
Yes. Yeah. Also, again, like I said, it's also you're not competing with a video game. You know, like also people are here for talk shows and podcasts. Like if we're doing this while playing Fortnite, as much as I like the Fortnite, people are there to hang out with us or see the Fortnite. They don't want to hear us talking about about if man is a walrus at heart, which I don't think they are, Tom. That's my take.
Are there walruses in Fortnite? I feel like there should be.
So there's obviously the infamous loot llama. There's been a bunch of let's see. I don't think it. Let's see. Walrus Fortnite. It may have been a funny costume.
Pulling back the curtain here a little bit while Chris figures this out. One of our
it was the mammoth.
Okay, it was a mammoth. One of our goals for this upcoming Extra Life, which by the way, bit.ly/NYSX Mario, which we are doing in 2 weeks. We are starting November 1st. And let me tell you, Chef made a fucking phenomenal trailer. It's on our Twitter account. You should check it out right now. I'm really fucking proud of him. This looks so fucking good. We will have a flyer out soon, and I'm working behind the scenes now to make like new donation graphics and whatnot. We're really fucking excited for our Do the Mario NYSX's Pasta Paisano Fuck Chris Pratt Sauce Fest 2022. But yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say.
The Extra Life Mario.
We're doing a week of Extra Life.
Yes.
If we raise $3,000, we have to join Chris for a week of nothing but Fortnite.
Listen. Last week on my channel, we did some Fortnite. It was me, Alicia, and Spectre came by, and we got a trios win first time. So like, listen, it's not that it's a third person. Like, all jokes aside, Fortnite's actually it's a fairly competent video game. Whereas just like like it's an Epic makes third person shooters well. Like they made Unreal, they made Gears of War. They know what they're doing with the kind of shit. So like. It's at its core, it's a good game. There's a lot of debate regarding like the predatory mechanics, with bits and whatnot, but that's a different. Yeah, that's my hot take. Fortnite good actually, but
it was a good stream. I actually caught a bit of it. I caught enough time for you to get hit by a car.
God, sports, yeah. Sometimes, yeah, the teamwork has to be tightened up a bit, but I enjoyed. I think, and I wouldn't do it on this channel all the time because I know most of the audience. Listen, Trevor, I bought that RE combo. I got Buff Chris and Trenchcoat Chris, and I got Jill with a good hat and RE3 Jill also. So in Fortnite they have like little backpacks and shit. You could switch between a typewriter or a herb, and that's that good fucking that good dumb shit that I love. It's fun. It's a fun game. Like it's like I kind of realized like I'm not cut out for MMOs for the time being because once I stopped playing fucking like WoW, I had no desire to play another MMO, and like try as I might, I just can't get into Destiny. I love the gun mechanics, but the progression story sucks. The fact that they vault shit that you pay for is infuriating.
I can
Whereas
see that.
Fortnite's just like you could be Harley Quinn and do a dance and shoot teenagers. I'm like, that's all I really want from video games sometime.
And everyone to everyone each their own poison, which is fine.
Oh yeah,
unless it's
none of them. Yeah, none of those games are
Call of Duty.
inherently bad. It's just like Fortnite scratches part of my meat brain that other games don't. If that makes sense.
That's me with 14. I can play 14. I can play 14 for hours on end. I do.
Yeah, I've been playing the Fortnite Cecilade, and the new mercenary modes in Hearthstone, and also Overwatch because I want that Vampire Hunter Brigitte. Anyway, you want to put this one to bed? something? Is
Oh
that what
no,
I'm
we
saying?
can we can.
Alright, alright,
I'm fine with shooting the shit for just. I
cool.
want
Yeah.
to. Like I said, this is a rare time where it's like we've gone through pretty much all of our notes for
Yeah.
Tusk.
Yeah. It's weird because like this is the first time seeing Tusk, and I only have one, two, three, 5 pages of notes is pretty good, honestly.
Well, when we
Yeah.
initially thought about doing this one, we didn't know if we were gonna um do Tusk like by itself or
Right.
do all of the horror movies in one swipe.
Yeah.
And when Taylor got involved, we're like, okay, we're gonna make this one just Tusk and
Yeah.
do each one of them on their own. And I'm glad we
Yeah.
went that route because
Yeah. I
Tusk
think
really.
like it's also really fun just watching a Kevin Smith movie and not know what's going into, because like up to this one, I
That's
had
gonna
seen
be
at
us
least
for the second
yeah.
half of this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
back to what we were talking about a while back for the roadmap of this podcast.
Right.
We feel that like a really good midway point. I'm gonna call it the season finale is gonna be
Right.
uh Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. We might make that part of Jingle Hells. At the end of the year, we're gonna see
Yeah.
how schedules kind of line up for that. But if not, the week of Christmas, it'll be around then. But that's
That would be
gonna
fun.
be like our season one, because now we've officially been
Yeah.
doing this now for just beneath 1 year. We started with Clerks in January. We either started with Clerks in January or February. I forget.
Okay, so let's see. I want to say was it January? I can't remember. We did Clerks. So we've done.
I know
So
we
Clerks.
jumped Dogma to April for
Right.
Lent. So I want to say we
Right.
did
So
Clerks in February and Mallrats in March.
that sounds right, because then we did Mallrats for Easter. Remember?
Was Easter in April or March this year?
Yeah. When was Easter? When time is a lie. When was Easter?
Because you're right, we did do it for Easter.
Easter was in April. Okay. So
Okay.
we start in February then, right? Because that means Clerks in. Or did we start in March?
I did not. I think we
started
started
in March
in
then.
I think we started in February.
No, because we never did Clerks.
We
I
had
think it's
Mallrats
March.
done. We had Mallrats done by the time we did Dogma.
Right. So I think because we didn't do an order. I think it was Clerks in March, Mallrats in Easter. Then May would have been
No,
Dogma.
we did Dogma. We did Dogma for Easter.
Oh shit! All right, yeah. Oh my god, I'm dumb. All right, so February then. So okay,
Yeah.
so February was right. Okay.
So
and then
if we do it
May, yeah, we did. What did we do in May? Because we did Chasing Amy for Pride.
I think we did like
We also missed a month too, I think.
we might have missed May, I think.
Yeah, I think we missed May. Did Chasing, or wasn't Chasing Amy a two-parter?
You're right. Chasing Amy was
Yes.
Chasing Amy was a two-parter, but it was like we did one part in May, one part end of May, one part early June.
Right. We definitely had a skip month.
We did the same thing for Dogma, if I remember correctly.
Right. Yeah.
Back
We had a skip month
back when we
because
thought
had
we could
D&D.
do back when we thought we could
Yeah.
do an hour-long episode and be covered.
Right. Yeah. A few of them were two-parters, and then we had a skip month, and then Clerks was a
Yeah.
two-parter.
Mm-hmm.
And then is that anything else? Yeah. And then so we've done most of the View Shoot. We'll be done with View Shoot briefly for like a month, because like we have Jane Silent Bob in December. January's Jersey Girl, which oh boy.
We're Clerks 2 is going to be both on the anniversary of the podcast as well as
Black History Month.
Black History Month. Trevor will be
reasons
joining us
Trevor's
for
a guest
that
star.
one because yikes.
So wait, what's next? And wait, because it was Zack and Miri then, right?
Next is going to be Zack and Miri.
Yeah.
And then we're going to
Yeah,
just
let's-
basically follow in release order.
Right. Unless we get like an idea Kevin Smith movies. Let's see.
I know
right.
in addition to He-Man, we might end up doing a little bit of like catch up on what else has
yeah,
been
we're definitely
happening.
gonna be doing some his non-movie stuff, like his DC Comics work, or his comics work, I should say.
The stand-up.
Stand-up stuff, yeah. Which stand-up stuff is really good. That stuff is really, that's gonna be a lot of fun. All right, so what do we got? So what's the order? All right, so it'd be, So Jane Silent Bob, Jersey Girl, Clerks 2, Zack and Miri, Cop Out, which
Mm-hmm.
then Red State, Yoga Hauser's Silent Bob reboot. Kilroy was here, which is wild because that's the weird NFT comedy.
Yeah. Oh my
We
god,
have to
yeah,
figure
that's
out
right.
if we can watch that. Clerks 3. Then we're not doing any of his anything like Coyote Ugly or Leaf
Nah.
Live Life
So
Free.
our
What about Jane
original
Silent
plan,
Bob's?
Super Group, that'll also be, so if we raise $1,000 for Extra Life, me and Chris have to do Jane Silent Bob Super Groovy cartoon movie.
Right.
I have to do all of it and not just a little bit. Which, by the way, I should point out now that for this entire for all future episodes, I'm looking at right now, and above on my OBS, I see movie theater right there. And at any point, like the fucking sword of Damocles dangling above all your heads, I can at any point click that fucking button and play that clip again. That clip's loaded in there forever, baby. I have that power over you. I am a fucking god.
Also, I forgot one fucking wild bit of information. Okay, going back to Tusk. So Michael Parks was in Tusk.
Yep.
Michael Parks was also in the Academy Award-winning movie Argo.
He was.
Do you know who he played in Argo?
I should know this because I recently just watched it on a plane trip back from Seattle.
This is gonna be a little bit of a mind freak. Okay, he played comics god, the king himself, Jack Kirby.
Oh my god, he was Jack Kirby in that.
But this is where we get Galaxy Brain. Cut back to 2003 with the hit Fox movie Daredevil, in which Kevin Smith has a cameo. He plays a hospital worker, also named Jack Kirby.
Motherfucker. Oh, I forgot that. Argo.
Yeah.
Argo was a great movie, and if they could just take Ben Affleck out of it, it would be a perfect movie.
He directed it though, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and he made his character like the greatest no bad quality character of all time. But yeah, so our actual initial plan with this podcast was to go until we got to Jay and Silent Bob reboot, which neither me nor Chris has seen, and go into that blind as like the final episode. And then we came to the realization that Clerks 3 is probably going to be dropping around the time we would be doing it in the podcast. So we're going to see what we can do with that. If they end up dropping it mid to late 2022, we may be able to actually naturally incorporate it while it's still in theaters, which would tickle me in all the right places.
Right. It's like ideally we get to reboot and then do once they get the release date, we can figure that out.
Yeah, he recently did an update on it where he was like it's going to be mid to late 2022, but until we have an exact one, like if we're going to try and do that, because I would like Clerks 3 would be like the capstone on the entire View Askew universe, and I feel like that would be an absolutely perfect like way to end this podcast on.
God, I guess Miramax owns Mallrats because they won't let them do Mallrats too, which they shouldn't. Yep. No, just
man. What if we redid Tusk, but we made Harvey Weinstein be the fucking walrus?
Much better movie. Again, I want to start campaigning that fucking the walrus from Tusk fights Moose Jaws.
Moose Jaws versus Mr. Tusk. I fund it.
That's how you end that trilogy. God. Going through the comic stuff is gonna be rough. By the way, I was talking to some people about that off stream, and there's not many good Kevin Smith comics.
That's gonna be a majority Chris driven thing. So I'm gonna be the one learning about that. Why is John Tron trending?
Is he really? Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I mean, okay. Is anyone surprised John Tron's anti-vax?
Okay. That's I thought you were gonna say I think is he also addicted to black tar heroin?
Oh man, I normally it's so uncharacteristic of me to like actually celebrate harm on another person. Fuck Shad, man. Fuck Shad base. So fucking hard. Um,
Okay,
I'm so
yeah. So Amanda showed up at my apartment. I have to let her in.
okay.
How do you want to do
Okay,
this? Do
so
you want to?
this might be a good place to end it then. In
Yeah.
that
Would you mind
case,
just ending it on your own? I'm just gonna
yeah,
also let her in.
yeah. Feel
All right.
free.
I'll see
I will.
everyone on Wednesday for Resident Evil. Tom, please put us to bed, please.
Yep.
Boop.
I'm gonna find someone for us to raid. Uh, but I want to. Here, I can just go to the fucking end screen. But yeah, I want to thank everyone for coming out. This has been one of the most fun episodes of the podcast we've done so far. Tomorrow, Chef, are we doing more Dread? I'm going to assume that to be a yes. And then from there, we have more RE5 on Wednesday. And more Deathloop, I believe, from Ray on Thursday. It's going to be a fun week. Next week, however, plan for some fun time starting November 1st, because we each have Extra Life ain't just going to be the 6th and the 7th. Extra Life is going to be the entire week leading up to that, starting on Monday, where I got a couple of surprises for y'all. But this has been a lot of fun. I'm going to throw a raid over to you know what? We haven't. I feel like much like the last couple of shorts and jorts we've done our buddy Max, who was with us for the Clerks the Animated Series. I feel like he would be a great target for tonight. And he's playing some Disco Elysium, which is a game I've been playing myself, which has been a lot of fun. But I want to thank Teylor for joining us. I want to thank Chris and everyone for joining us. It's been a whale of a good time. I mean, a walrus of a good time. I'm going to go fucking pass out, y'all. I got a busy week ahead of me. But y'all are awesome. Stay beautiful. Fuck cops. And kiss a consenting person on the lips. Tell them you love them. And hail Ratma. Catch y'all later.